Another beautiful evening in Southern California as we welcome you to Anaheim, where tonight Game 2 of this three-game series between the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Angels winning last night 2-1, in the process moving percentage points in front in the AL West. The guy who grew up 15 minutes from here, making his second professional start in this stadium, Gerrit Cole, getting ready tonight. Hi everybody, welcome. Todd Callis alongside Mike Stanton filling in for Jeff Love. Last night a tough loss, 2-1. Great pitching from the Astros, even better from the Angels. Still looking for that consistency from the Astros offensively.
Yeah, Todd, it's frustrating not just for the fans. It's frustrating for the players and for the organization. They're really trying to figure out what's going on here. I think it's more of an approach issue. They're seeing a lot more breaking balls this year than they did last year.
Gerrit Cole's first 8 starts as an Astro. When you compare him to Justin Verlander, the wins and losses aren't the same, but that's out of his control. The rest of the numbers, right there.
Well, both of these guys, I mean, it's just been crazy how good they have been. And Gerrit Cole, in some ways, has actually been better than Justin Verlander. Now, the sample size isn't quite as big, but Gerrit Cole and Justin Verlander, they're a big reason why the Astros are where they are in the standings, because these guys have been absolutely dominant.
4 of his 8 starts for Cole have been on the road. In our HEB, no player does more. His road starts have been unreal.
Well, a sub-1 ERA, and you're not talking about just in a game or two. You're actually talking about several games, and it's fastball command. It's the fact that he's not throwing the 2-seam fastball nearly as much. It's 4-seam fastball, slider, curveball. He's actually put the changeup in his pocket also, and with that, the ability to pitch north and south has really shown up. He's really bought into what Brent Strom is teaching as far as the sabermetrics are concerned and all the analytics, the numbers. He's a baseball junkie, and he has really bought into everything that's happening.
First 2 batters he will face tonight, Mike Trout and then Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani, we've seen him as a pitcher, but we haven't seen him as a hitter, at least not in person. Guy, this is a big, strong, athletic, fast dude, okay? He's got big pop. We've seen him go deep 5 times already this year. It's going to be interesting to see if he can handle the velocity that he's going to see tonight and possibly tomorrow night. Haven't seen the lineup for tomorrow night, but he's faced some good pitchers, but I don't think he's faced anybody that's throwing the ball as well as Gerrit Cole.
Cole tonight, Verlander tomorrow. Astros trying to bounce back with a win when we come back. Julian Morales will discuss more on the offense as we roll on a Tuesday night from Anaheim.
the Angels. Astros trying to bounce back from a really tough one here at Angel Stadium last night. Offense was shut down. It was a tough game, but it's actually been a tough couple of games for the reigning AL MVP. Jose Altuve actually snapped an 0 for 16 with a single in the ninth last night. AJ Hinch said in the world of needing hits, Altuve needed that hit. And we've seen Altuve struggle before in the past. It usually doesn't last very long, and this one hasn't lasted very long either. You can't really compare him to most people in the league. But May, not his best month in his career, but as recent as last year, we saw something very similar. On this date last year is where he really got it going on May 15th of 2017. Look at the numbers from May 1st through 14th. He was hitting only .216, but 15th, he had a home run in that game, then followed that up with a couple of 4-hit games later in the month, hit .391 the rest of the way. That set up for a nice June, and then he had the .485 batting average in the month of July, and of course, went on to win the MVP and lead the Astros to a World Series title. So all good, but Altuve, guys, AJ said he's been swinging at pitches out of the zone, so chasing hits a little bit. So really all about pitch selection for him. Emotionally, he's okay, but he knows and gets frustrated that when he's not getting hits, neither the team really isn't hitting like they should be either. All working as one. Hopefully he gets going tonight.
Yeah, hopefully, and that's the date. As you mentioned, it was May 15th. He celebrates A.J. Hinch's birthday by getting on a hot streak last year. Hopefully the same will happen this year as we look at the Astros lineup with George Springer leading off at the top in center field, followed by Alex Bregman, number 3 hitter Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, the shortstop, bats 4th, Brian McCann bats 5th behind the plate. Marwin Gonzalez playing first base tonight. Yuli Gurriel with the day off. Evan Gattis will DH. Josh Reddick in right. And Derek Fisher in left, facing Jaime Barria.
Jaime Barria, the young right-hander, making his 5th start here in 2018. Throwing the ball pretty well for these guys. He's going to throw a low 90s fastball, curve slider combination, move the fastball around a little bit. He did earn the win his last time out Wednesday in Colorado, tossing 5 1/3 scoreless.
21-year-old right-hander delivers to George Springer and misses with the first pitch. Springer, as you see, coming in with a .295 batting average. He started that last trip to Arizona and Oakland batting .256, but then he went 14 for 29 on that 6-game journey. As he bounces one foul, it's 1-1. Underway on a Tuesday night. Glad you could join us. Todd Callis alongside Mike Stanton filling in this series for Jeff Blum, Julia Morales as always. Another beautiful night here in Southern California. It is a Twitter Tuesday. Make sure you join us on that as we talk a little bit about no-hitters this evening. 62 degrees game time temperature as Barria delivers outside and low for ball 2. George went 1 for 4 in last night's game, singled in the 9th inning, and then tried to advance on a fly ball to right. And Cole Calhoun made a great play to erase him as part of a double play as the Astros rally fell short in a 2-1 loss. Now it's 2-2.
Swing and miss right here by George Springer. That was a changeup from Barria. And, you know, George, all these guys, they're not giving up on the fastball. They seem to be trying to cover the fastball all the time, regardless really what the count is. And they're seeing more and more off-speed pitches this year.
Heaney was very effective with his changeup in last night's game. Kept the Astros off balance as George sends a high fly ball to center field. Trout waits for it and puts it away for the first out of the night.
Our pitch usage is presented by AT&T, and you're going to see a 3-pitch mix here. Does throw a 2-seam and a 4-seam, mostly 4-seam fastballs. Against right-handed hitters, he's mostly going to be fastball slider with a few changeups. Left-handers, he mixes up that slider and changeup a little bit more, but we've already seen one changeup to a right-hander in Springer in that at-bat.
Yeah, changeup's been hit the hardest, but the slider's been his most effective in terms of opponent's batting average. As Alex Bregman will dig in. Alex had his 11-game road hitting streak snap last night. And he swings to the first pitch and pops it up. Rene Rivera gives it a look and runs out of room. Sweets down by the dugout. That's where it fell into. There's no screen there that prevents you from going up and over, and that's what Rene tried to do.
Yeah, he gave it about everything you can get. You can see him reach as far as he possibly can, other than jumping over that net, which think that would end up very well, but just out of his reach.
Rivera getting the start tonight. Martin Maldonado started last night's game. Alex takes one outside for ball one. The crew chief is behind the plate tonight, fielding Colbreth, calling balls and strikes. Maria last season made a stop at every level of the minor leagues. He started the year at Class A with Inland Empire, and then moved up to AA Mobile before making 3 starts at the AAA level. And this year started out in the minor leagues. Today marks another start with the Angels, but just his 3rd after being down with AAA Salt Lake. Here's a pop-up in the right field. Bregman's retired for the 2nd out. Starting defense presented by Xfinity. Justin Upton, Mike Trout, and Cole Calhoun, your outfield. Luis Valbuena is playing 3rd today. Zach Cozart with the day off. Andrelton Simmons with 3 Gold Glove awards is at shortstop. Ian Kinsler's at 2nd. And we get to see Albert Pujols play the field tonight with Shohei Ohtani as the DH.
Has done a nice job at first base. Doesn't quite have the range that he once did. But if he gets to the ball, he's still a pretty good glove man. You know, look at to look at Jaime right here. You know, he's not overpowering. He's going to throw the ball in the low 90s. Going to move the ball around. The slider's got, you know, nice speed differential. It's like 10 or 12 miles an hour off the fastball.
That ball hits Altuve. So Altuve, who hadn't reached base in 16 consecutive plate appearances, which was one shy of his career mark of 17 back in 2013, a hit last night in his final at bat, and tonight he is grazed by a pitch.
Here's our Mattress Firm Super Mo, and you see there's a fastball inside. Altuve does try and get out of the way, and if you're going to get hit, that's the way to do it. It did touch him, but it was a glancing blow off that left arm, and Jose Altuve hasn't run a whole lot this year, but this might be a spot to go ahead and see if he can get into scoring position.
Maldonado not catching tonight. He usually shuts down a running game. Rivera, a very good defensive catcher as well, but not quite the arm of Maldonado, who has the best arm of any American League catcher according to StatCast. Carlos Correa coming in with the best batting average on the road this year in the major leagues at 400. Also has the best on base percentage on the road at 473.
We've seen him really use the whole field, Todd. I mean, he's hit for power. He's got some home runs, got several doubles, but he's also got a bunch of singles to right field. Letting that ball travel. This really seems like Carlos is being attacked inside, hard, soft away, and those soft away are the ones that he's kind of serving into right field, not trying to do too much.
Splits are pretty amazing. The power numbers are about the same, but the batting average over 200-point difference between Minute Maid Park and the various stadiums on the road. But now Carlos has a 2-1 count.
And you can see already with Maria, he's pitching hard in, just like Heaney did last night, just like the Texas Rangers did last series. You know, that's why, you know, there's been some hit by pitches just simply because they're throwing the ball inside, attacking hard in.
Now slider away. The Correa misses. It's 2-2. Maria's been back and forth a lot this year. He started the year AAA, then made a start with the Angels in Texas, back to AAA Salt Lake, then a start with the Angels against San Francisco, then back to AAA Salt Lake, and now making his 3rd consecutive start.
Already getting his frequent flyer miles in early this season.
Well, we mentioned last night when Ohtani is a guy that pitches once a week.
Right.
You've got to have somebody that's kind of in a shuttle in between AAA and the major leagues to fill.
Well, they've also had other guys hurt in
True.
that rotation. So, you know, at one point, I think we were a month into the season, they already had 9 starting pitchers for this Angels team. So Mike Scioscia is already trying to scramble a little bit to make sure these innings are covered 9 innings a night.
Scioscia with Rene Rivera looking in. Altuve on first base with 2 outs and a 2-2 count to Correa. And Carlos goes down swinging. First strikeout for Berea, one man left on base. Gerrit Cole, the local kid, when we come back.
Of a power pitcher, mid-high 90s, will carry it the whole outing. Slider, curve, change, but the use of the off-speed pitches, especially the slider and the curve, has really increased. Not throwing quite as many fastballs as he did last year. Also, the two-seam fastball is almost gone away. It's all four-seam fastballs up in the zone with that high velocity. Has just done a wonderful job of buying into what him and Brent Strom have come up for a game plan.
Just about 10 years ago, he was wrapping up his high school studies here at Orange Lutheran High School, about 15 minutes from here. And tonight he will face Mike Trout as the first batter for the Angels. First time Trout's been in the one spot leading off. And then Shohei Ohtani is batting second for the first time. He's been anywhere from 4 to 8. Justin Upton hits third, Albert Pujols fourth. Andrelton Simmons the shortstop, Luis Valbuena at third base. Ian Kinsler bats seventh at second. Cole Calhoun is in right field. And Rene Rivera behind the plate.
Todd, this is what I call, jokingly, a Little League lineup. And what I mean by that is you're just stacking all your best hitters. Put them all together, see if you can get a few hits in a row, maybe somebody drive one out of the ballpark. The second half of this lineup for the Angels, not nearly as potent as the first half.
Saw A.J. Hinch talking with the home plate umpire Fielden Colbreth. Mike Scioscia had come out at the beginning of the break of the inning, and he told Fielden something, and Colbreth got on the headsets back to New York, so that's something we'll have to check out if replay is actually working or whatever the issue might be. Colbreth decided to go talk to AJ about it.
Yeah, not sure exactly what that was about. Mike Scioscia actually came out right after the last out of that top of the first, and then they've gone back and forth, so we'll see if we can figure out what exactly is going on here.
1-1 to count. Gerrit Cole facing Mike Trout. Cole's second start as a professional here in Angel Stadium. Made his first start almost 5 years ago with the Pirates back in 2013. He attacked up and in and now down and away.
Yeah, last start for Gerrit, he had to get into the flow of the game a little bit. We didn't see the velocity tick up really until a little bit later. Velocity is a little better tonight. They're 97 miles an hour. So on this nice cool night in close to his hometown, he's kind of feeling a little frisky early.
Yeah, this is a big night for him. Feeling healthy, pitching incredibly well. Saw the strikeout numbers already this season. 8 starts, 86 strikeouts in 56 2/3 innings. The first batter he faces tonight, Trout, has a full count. And doesn't get the call on a pitch at the knees. Mike Trout ends up drawing a walk. Brian McCann held it there for an extra beat and felt that was high enough to be called a strike. Well, here's the show. Our first look at Shohei Ohtani as a hitter.
Here or there, MD Anderson strike zone, and that looks like a pretty good pitch down in the zone. It did catch part of that box, but it was borderline. I'm actually surprised that Mike Trout didn't swing at it, because that's usually where his happy zone is, down there at the bottom.
That was pretty close. Trout got the benefit of a tweener call. Shohei coming in, batting .348 on the year. And swings at the first pitch he sees from Gerrit Cole, and it's 97 heat up top, and he misses it.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how these Astros pitchers, and Gerrit in particular right now, attack Shohei Ohtani. This is the first time they've seen him, but AJ said that they've been doing a lot of research on him, even though they haven't seen him yet.
First series these two teams played, Ohtani pitched, and he doesn't hit whether when he starts the game before or the game after. So he was out of that series at Minute Maid Park as a batter, but boy, his numbers pretty incredible for both the pitching stats and the hitting stats, tied amongst AL rookies for the most home runs and RBIs. And there's a good breaking ball for a called strike, and Cole ahead 1-2.
Yeah, there's the first curveball of the night. He's going to throw that in the low 80s. The slider's going to be in the high 80s. And then we've already seen the fastball in the high 90s. So got his power stuff working.
Cole has been staying up against Ohtani in this at bat so far. And they go upstairs again, and he fouls one back. Ohtani batting .348 on the road and .348 at home. The difference is he has all his home runs here at Angel Stadium.
Which is a little surprising, Todd, because it's not as much as a hitter's park as it used to be. They moved the fences a little bit, but in this cool weather here in Southern California, the ball just doesn't travel as it gets later at night and the marine layer comes in.
Astros trying to attack Ohtani up high, and so far he is in a 2-2 count, but almost everything have been middle up.
Yeah, the curveball was up also, but it had, it was 15 or 16 miles an hour off of his fastball. But the fastball, we can see not anything down in the zone whatsoever.
Breaking ball, and Cole strikes out Shohei Ohtani the first time he faces him. So the first Astros pitcher to face Ohtani as a hitter picks up a strikeout.
Another breaking ball up in the zone. That was the curveball again. It looks like that they may not give him anything in that middle speed. And that's that slider we were talking about. So the game plan against Ohtani in that first at bat was, we're just going to go hard and soft, stay up on him, and see if he can handle serious fastball up in the zone.
17 strikeout for Ohtani in his 70th at bat. And here's Justin Upton. Upton takes up high for a ball. It's 1-0.
So Todd, you were talking about the strikeouts from Gerrit Cole having 86. With that one of Ohtani, that's 87 in those 56 innings, 57 innings now. That was only his 13th walk. So it's not that he's just striking out a lot of hitters. Man, he is not putting them on via the base on balls either. I mean, he really has had serious command so far here in 2018.
Yeah, it's been impressive to watch. He's been efficient with his pitch count while racking up all these strikeouts. This ball's hit well to left field, sending Fisher back to the wall, and this ball's gone. Justin Upton, who has more home runs in May than any other major leaguer, hits his 7th of the month, his 11th of the season. And the Angels jump on top 2-0.
It looked like a breaking ball. It was a curveball actually down. Justin Upton, excuse me, a lot like Mike Trout. He likes that ball in the bottom part of the zone. This ball was supposed to be on the outside part of the plate away. He leaves it in the middle, and Justin Upton makes Gerrit Cole pay for it.
That is the first home run Cole has allowed in his last 6 starts, as he misses on the first delivery to Albert Pujols. Last home run Cole allowed was back on April 13th against the Texas Rangers. He allowed 2 in that start at Minute Maid Park, but 5 consecutive starts without a home run. Last year he only had 1 stretch where he went as many as 3 starts without a home run. So the home run ball has not hurt him as much this season. But Upton gets him here in the first inning, and now Pujols to center, and George Springer puts it away.
You know, you would think with the way he is pitching up in the zone with the four-seam fastball that actually may allow the hitters to hit more home runs, but because of his high spin rate on his four-seam fastball, that ball has a tendency to ride. Gets a lot of swing and misses up there. Last year, it was sinker, slider, changeup, so a lot of pitches going to the bottom part of the zone end up giving up 32 home runs last year.
Yeah, it was the two-seamer, as you mentioned, that has kind of gone away this year. Really got hit hard last year. Here's a ball hit hard, knocked down by Correa. Simmons is going to reach. That ball was smoked towards short. Correa did well to knock it down, but that should be a hit for Andrelton Simmons.
This was a fastball by Simmons, and you know, Simmons has turned himself into a pretty good little hitter. Now that's right down the middle. Correa did a nice job of knocking it down, but he tried to go and pick it up with his glove, missed it with the first swipe, and with the speed of Simmons, he wasn't going to have a play at first.
It is a hit for Simmons. Carlos Correa still error-free in the 2018 season. And now here is Luis Valbuena. Runner on the move. McCann's throw is in time. Out at second base is Simmons. McCann has been doing a better job this year throwing out runners.
Mike Scioscia on the top step wanted to take a look at this, looking back at one of his coaches on the phone with his video coordinator upstairs to see exactly what he thinks happened here.
Quick tag by Correa as well. McCann has really worked a lot on the exchange, and his pop time has improved from last year to this year, and they are going to look at this.
Quick feet, quick release by McCann. Throw was a little bit high, but McCann just simply didn't have the ball very long. Got it down there in a hurry with good arm strength. Here we're taking a look at the replay.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's out.
I don't think there's enough to overturn that. If anything, it's whatever's called on the field's going to stand, but there's nothing that shows me that his hand beats the tag of Correa.
Yeah, you can see the fingers as he touches the bag kind of go up, indicating that he touched the bag. I think this very well may stand.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's nothing in there. And Gerrit Cole's going to throw some extra warm-up pitches here just to stay loose, which is a smart thing, but I think after a couple of tosses, he may be able to go back to the dugout. Is the hand on the bag?
Not yet.
Nope,
there
you go. Yeah, I think he's out.
We got a little snow cone action right there on that throw from McCann.
Well, that's the
for
other
Carlos
thing.
McCann, yeah.
The ball stays secure in his glove, even though he only caught about 3/4 of it. Good call at second base by CB Bucknor, who's on the headsets along with Fielder and Cobra.
Yeah, a lot of times that, we haven't made the official call yet. Actually, we're going to do it right now. Yep, he's out.
So caught stealing. McCann guns down Simmons. 2-0 Angels lead on the Upton home run. Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Second inning baseball, and the guy who recorded the final out on a nice throw, Brian McCann, will lead things off. It'll be McCann, followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Evan Gattis, facing the 21-year-old right-hander Jaime Barria. McCann takes a called strike. Angels only caught for the 4th time as a team this year. They were 22 of 25 in stolen bases before McCann threw out Simmons to end the inning. And now McCann down to the count 0-2.
You know, Todd, I have to say that was a good call by C.B. Buckner on that caught stealing, because the tag went on the rear end. And a lot of times that's an instantaneous safe call regardless of what happens at the plate or at the base.
Call was made. Socha thought he had enough to overturn it, but on the review, we never saw anything that suggested it should be overturned, and the call remained. McCann, line drive, base hit into left center field. He's a leadoff base runner for the Astros in the second. Tonight is a Twitter Tuesday, and our theme this evening is about no-hitters. We almost had another one today. And no-hitter memory back in 1993 when Darryl Kyle threw a no-no against the Mets.
Wow, talk about spin rate and a curveball. Goodness gracious, Darryl Kyle had a great one.
So 3 years ago in 2015, there were 7 no-hitters. That's the most in one season. Is a no-hitter now as big a deal as it was 5, 10, 20 years ago? Which current Astro do you think has the best shot at a no-hitter, and why? And also share your favorite memories of no-hitters you have maybe seen in person or on TV.
It's a good thing it's Twitter Tuesday. That's a lot to tweet about.
And it's a lot of topics all around the no-hitter. We've seen 3 already in the major leagues this year. One of them was a combined no-hitter by the Dodgers. Walker Buehler started that game and then had help from the bullpen as Marwin takes a pitch for a strike. One by Sean Manaea against the Red Sox in Oakland. And then James Paxton got the Blue Jays up in Toronto. So 3 no-hitters already, and we're in May 15th right now. And the all-time record is 7 in one season.
Well, it may be broken this year. Now, you never know. Time will tell. But with the swing and miss not really meaning all that much to hitters anymore, and how many strikeouts there are, contact's way down. So, if there's ever a time to have another no-hitter, would be now.
The Astros certainly have candidates 1 through 5.
Every one of them has great stuff. Most of them have power stuff. Everyone but Dallas Keuchel, and we've seen Dallas Keuchel do it, come close a couple times.
Well, Mike, here you see the no-hitters by decade, and we already, with the rest of 2018 and 19 to go, have more no-hitters this decade than any other.
Yeah, and we still have a year and 3/4 left in this decade.
Yeah.
So that's saying something. And you know what, Todd? It's just a different game. Back in previous decades, especially you go back to the 90s and earlier, it was about contact. It wasn't about home run. It wasn't necessarily about power. There were a few guys in the lineup that would have power, and you wanted to hit home runs, and you didn't mind about strikeouts. But now it really seems like power plays, and you're looking for power 1 to 9, whereas in previous generations it was just a couple guys in the middle of the lineup.
Marwin takes one down, and now it's 3-2. Marwin trying to snap an 0 for 17 right now. That was on the heels of a great 18-game run where he hit 333 with 18 RBIs.
Todd, and I have been privileged enough to witness a few. 2 perfect games.
Okay.
David Wells, David Cone, both with the Yankees. The one for David Cone, it was kind of one of his last great starts. After that, he pitched for a little while longer, but pretty exciting stuff, even if you don't get in there to pitch.
McCann stayed on the 3-2 pitch, and it was a good thing. Marwin goes down swinging for the first out of the second inning. June 11th, 2003, Yankee Stadium. 20 rows behind home plate with Key's two sons. Once we got to the 7th inning, we told the Yankees fans it was going to happen. Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner closed it out.
Yeah, no, I was not there. 2003, I had gone from the Yankees to the Mets, so I did see the highlights of that one, but I did not catch that one in person.
Mike Scott's at the Dome, wrapping things up.
Oh, he was so filthy that night. His split finger fastball.
Towards the middle, Simmons will take it himself and turn a double play on Gaddis to end the inning. One hit, double play wipes out the base runner. We head to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Angels.
Texas, May is your chance to show your spirit, so tweet now and win big. When Gerrit Cole got the news that he had been traded to the Houston Astros, he was thrilled to be a part of a really talented team, knew he'd be walking into a great clubhouse, but also bonus for him, he grew up watching the AL West. This was the division that he knew most about because he grew up coming to this ballpark. He had season tickets at Angel Stadium, watched many, many games from the seats back there, had a really good seat here for the World Series running back in 2002, watched a lot of these players. This is home for Gerrit Cole, so sleeping in his own bed this series, guys, and it's just an opportunity for him to spend a lot of time with family. Actually had a lot of guys from the team over on Sunday night when we arrived to his house. So with the, being able to host and then, of course, hanging out with friends, he's in a really good place. And we talk a lot about how happy Gerrit Cole is to be in that Houston Astros uniform. But there's a lot of things working for him, and it's showing on the field as well.
Yeah, he's been so much fun to watch. Do we know the rough estimate of how many people ended up here on the Gerrit Cole pass list today?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's healthy. it's a healthy. It's a healthy pass list. And you know what? That adds pressure, even for a guy that's been around as long as Gerrit has. That changes the situation a little bit. Maybe his pregame or what happened prior to the coming to the ballpark. It just starting pitchers a lot of times are kind of slaves to their programs. And being at home, I can remember playing in when I started with the Atlanta Braves, we were in the same division as the Astros in the National League West. Coming home was kind of a pain. It was great to see everyone, but there was a lot of people pulling different directions, and Cole's only been here a couple times.
Players get a certain allotment for every game as he strikes out Luis Valbuena to start the bottom half of the second inning, and now facing Ian Kinsler. And then you have to kind of go around to other guys. Hey, can I use your tickets for Saturday or for Tuesday? Are you using them? So yeah, it's a lot. But Gerrit was thrilled to be back here at home and pitching here at Angel Stadium.
Yeah, so we've already seen the velocity tick up a little bit early in this game, and So we'll see how he controls those emotions. You know, I think once he gets, you know, third or fourth inning here, he kind of settled down a little bit and gets into the groove of the game. But, you know, giving up the 2 spot in the first also, that doesn't help.
Justin Upton, one of the few guys who has had any success against Gerrit Cole. As Kinsler fouls one back, it's 1-2. Cole had made 8 starts prior to tonight and only allowed home runs in 2 of those. His opening start against the Rangers in Arlington, and then that was Joey Gallo getting him, and then the start against the Rangers the second time through at Minute Maid Park. But now 3 out of his 9 starts he's allowed a home run, and that's something that plagued him a lot last year that's really improved in 2018.
Well, when you throw, his breaking ball usage has gone up, but he still throws a lot of fastballs, and when you throw a lot of fastballs, that's really what hitters like to hit.
The 2 home runs he gave up in that other start against Texas, it was Gallo again that got him, and then Robinson Chirinos.
Yeah, that was both late in the game, wasn't it?
His final inning.
Yeah.
7 innings of 2-run baseball, 2 solo home runs. 2-2 pitches grounded towards Correa by Kinsler. Carlos makes the throw to Marwin for the second out of the inning.
Here's our Ford power pitch, and this is fastball usage, the heat map, and our Best in Texas power pitch is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. And what I'm seeing here is you see the red zones. You see the red zones actually elevated a little bit on the right, and also there's just not as much color on the right, and that some of that has to do with the fact that he is throwing more off-speed pitches. But the big thing here is the red is concentrated, so he's got a better release point, he's got a better arm slot, and he's letting that fastball ride to the top part of the zone.
When you talk about a riding fastball, you can live up in the upper zone when you have a little carry on that fastball, it would seem.
Well, what ends up happening is you spin the ball a little bit more. You finish it a little bit better. And with that 4-seam, the ball just doesn't fall due to gravity as it travels to the plate. And that puts the hitter underneath the ball, and there's a lot of swing and miss and fly balls there.
1-1 the count to Cole Calhoun with 2 outs and nobody on. A leadoff walk to Trout on a close pitch at 3-2. He struck out Shohei Ohtani, and then Justin Upton hit the second pitch he saw just over the wall in left field into the Astros bullpen.
So Todd, here's what we're talking about. This is a 4-seam fastball, top part of the zone. You know, Calhoun's a low ball hitter, but it's just so difficult to get on top of that pitch, especially at 96, 97, 98 miles an hour. And that's where a lot of Cole's success has come this season.
Then he can drop the breaking ball on you like that.
And there's your north and south. You go hard north, you go soft south, and it's just hard for the hitters to recognize it because both pitches are kind of starting off in the middle part of the zone.
That heat map you saw a moment ago were all his fastballs this season.
You know, it's fun to kind of guess along with the pitchers and the hitters, trying to figure out what pitch is coming next. And in this position right here, he can go either place.
It's a high fastball, 99 on the swing and miss. Cole's firmest fastball of the evening. Picks up 2 strikeouts in the inning and has 3 in the game. It's 2-0 LA. huge play in last night's game to help the Angels preserve a 2-1 win. In the 9th inning, Springer on first base. Fly ball by Bregman, caught against the wall, and he made a great throw.
You know what was impressive was he actually used the wall to his advantage. Kind of bounced off of it, pushed, got his momentum going to second base, and then a great throw. Nice catch and tag by Simmons also. I mean, Springer was being aggressive, made Cole Calhoun make a play, and he did.
Aaron Judge has thrown one almost 100 miles an hour, and Jake Marisnick second on that list according to StatCast. Max arm speed for outfielders this year. Josh Reddick starts out the 3rd inning, taking a called strike.
You know, one of the things about that list, it's not necessarily about just how hard you throw. Most of those guys on that list also have a pretty good idea where it's going. You got to be able to, just like a pitcher, you want to be able to hit your spot when you're throwing at it when you're an outfielder also. Calhoun, we saw him do just that last night.
Calhoun leads the majors with 6 assists. Josh Reddick at the plate now has 4 to lead the Astros. Josh has played left and right field this year, mostly in right. Inside, goes all the way to the backstop as Berea misses. It's 1-2. Berea so far
is your inside fastball.
Berea so far has had it 1 hit allowed. He's also hit a batter and struck out 2.
Yeah, he's got a really nice changeup today. We'll see if that's where he goes right here after kind of buzzing Josh on the inside, a little off the plate inside.
Missed the edge, 2-2.
That was the changeup, and it looks like to me he's actually letting up on the changeup. That was one of the harder changeups he threw at 81. He's gone down into the 80, 79 range with that changeup.
Reddick into center field, sending Trout back a little bit, but Trout has a play on it and makes it for the first out of the 3rd inning.
He went back to the well, another changeup. You know, that's going to be his go-to pitch, especially against the left-handers. It's a big ballpark. Go ahead and hit it to center field as far as you want.
Here is Derek Fisher getting another start. Fisher had 2 at-bats last night before he was lifted for a pinch hitter in the 8th. He was 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. And breaking ball catches the edge. It's 0-1. Berea's first career appearance against the Astros. Out of Panama City, Panama. The second ever Angels player from Panama. The first Hall of Famer, Rod Carew.
Did not realize he was Panamanian.
Ball hit high in the air into shallow center. In fact, so shallow Simmons will back up. Andrelton Simmons makes the play for out number 2. Hey, guess whose birthday it is today?
And he even got a cake.
44 years old today. Happy birthday, AJ. Turning 44 on the same day that George Brett celebrates a birthday. Dan Patrick, Emmett Smith, and Andy Murray.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys fans. Emmett Smith.
Julia, always fun when the manager has a birthday. He says it always is during the baseball schedule, so he's always out at the baseball field somewhere. 0-1 pitch is outside for a ball, 1-1. Springer fly to center his first time up. We'll check back with Julia on AJ's birthday a little later on. 2 outs, nobody aboard. Two and 1 the count.
Down here trying to figure out what to get him for his birthday real quick. Got just a couple of hours left. Sorry.
What's the list look like?
I don't know. I think it's just an Astros win.
That was a cool cake he got.
That's probably what he wants more than anything else.
The Angels brought that over?
2-1 towards short. Simmons has it. makes the play for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Berea in the third, and it's still 2-0 Angels.
You're already on Twitter and you're already following us at ATT Sportsnet SW. Where do you think the Astros are going to finish this season in starter ERA? Below 250, below 3, above 3 right now? They're first in the league. 226. The Washington Nationals second, 291. See what happens. Let's see what you think. We'll reveal the results later in the broadcast. TK.
A or B would be incredible. I mean, you're talking, you're going back to the 70s and 60s when you're talking about a rotation having ERAs that low. I mean, in the 60s, that's actually the kind of stuff that made Major League Baseball move the mound.
Yeah.
Lower the mound.
Yeah. Pitching was starting to dominate.
Just not enough offense.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you see the team ERA, and Rivera leads off the bottom half of the third inning. While you're not disappointed in being 9 games over 500 at 26 and 17, you'd like to see more wins with that team ERA in the first 43 games of a season.
Well, Todd, we've talked about it in the past. There are times that the pitchers have to pick up the hitters, and then there's times, you know, vice versa. The hitters have to score a few more runs because the pitching staff isn't quite where it needs to be. But this has been a pretty spectacular run so far for the Astros here in 2018. I mean, we're talking about, you know, we're mid-May and still have an ERA in the low 2s for the rotation.
Yeah, starters 2.26 ERA and have 10 losses in those 43 starts with that ERA themselves. That's quite surprising. Last night, an example, Lance gives up 2. It was 1 more than the Angels give up the whole night. We saw a 1-0 game to the Rangers on that recent homestand. There's been at least 4 or 5 games where the Astros have allowed 0 or 1 run going into the 9th inning. Excuse me, 1 or 2 runs going into the 9th inning and ended up with a loss. Here's a ground ball towards Marwin. He will take it himself. He saw Cole, who was over there to cover, but with Rivera running, Marwin able to make the play for out number 1.
You know, Todd, that offense it's frustrating for everyone. It's not like the hitters aren't trying to get hits. But, you know, in the early 90s in Atlanta, you know, had the great staff, the 3 Hall of Famers, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine. You know, there were times that they felt like they had to go out there and throw shutouts just to get a no decision. I mean, there were some lean offensive years, but those guys were so good that, you know, you only needed a couple runs, a lot like what's going on here.
Back to the top of the order, Mike Trout, who drew a walk and scored a run, came in on the Justin Upton 2-run home run, which is the difference in this game, and Cole with a 1-1 count. Well, this is the same offense that last year led all of baseball in runs scored, struck out the fewest times in all of baseball. And while they are off to what they would consider a slow start after 43 games, same group, It's not like they
Yeah.
lost 2 or 3 guys out of that offense from last year.
Well, and it's not like the offense hasn't done anything at all. You know, there have been days that they haven't, but it's still, you know, a middle of the road lineup. But I really think just the overall approach that the opponent's pitching staffs, how they're attacking the Astros, I think that's really the issue. That the Astros haven't made that adjustment that the starting pitchers for the other teams have made to them. A lot more breaking balls. We're seeing them pitch them hard inside, get them, you know, really cognizant of inside. Now you're going soft away. And the Astros just got to figure out how to combat that.
They have been chasing a little more this year. Second straight full count for Trout against Gerrit Cole, and he's called out this time. Trout got the benefit of the call the last time, and this time he's called out by Colbreth. So they're even. Cole has one, and Trout has one on a couple of close 3-2 pitches.
Trout had a couple words for Fielding Colbert. That's right on the corner. I mean, that's a pitcher's pitch, 99 miles an hour. I mean, that's just simply not fair. You know, that's a tough pitch for anyone to hit at 91 miles an hour, but you're pushing triple digits and you're painting the corners. That's pretty spectacular stuff.
Now Cole faces Shohei Ohtani for the second time. Ohtani struck out his first time up. This game going back to Japan, as is every game that Ohtani plays in as a pitcher or a hitter.
Todd, that pitch was so good. We're going to take another look at it. You see the four-seam spin. You see the ball not drop. Brian McCann does a nice job of presenting that ball to Fielding Colbreth. Good pitch all the way around.
One and one the count. Ohtani facing Gerrit Cole tonight. Very good chance you'll see him tomorrow facing Justin Verlander. That four-seamer has been doing a lot of damage this year. Now he drops the breaking ball in. Ohtani down in the count 1-2 for the second straight at bat.
So in 2 at-bats so far, Ohtani hasn't seen anything from like mid-thigh down. Everything has been the top part of the zone. In the 2 at-bats. There again, fastball 98 miles an hour up in the zone. It really looks like the game plan against Ohtani is we don't think he can get to anything up. And we're going to stay up there until he shows us he can get there.
Gerrit has 4 strikeouts in this game. Ohtani stays alive. Cole's retired 5 in a row after allowing a couple of hits and a walk in the first inning. Ohtani.
Oh, that one got Fielding Colbert.
Home plate umpire Fielding Colbert took the brunt of that. That did not deflect off Brian McCann at all. That was a direct shot right to Colbert.
99 mile an hour fastball on the inside part of the plate. Ohtani fouls it off, and there was no leather by Brian McCann. That looked like it got him right in the shoulder, the right shoulder.
Gerrit Cole called for the umpire crew to converge at home plate right away. Ooh.
Oh no, got him in the face mask. So that's like a Mike Tyson punch to the chin.
Brian O'Nora, the third base umpire, was called in by Gerrit Cole right away, and CB Bucknor is going to head towards the umpire's locker room. This may be a situation where Fielding Colbert can't stay in this game.
Yeah, it looks like CB's going to possibly get his gear on. The questions that are being asked to Fielding Colbert right now, not liking what the responses are. So
good job by Brian McCann. He was right there holding him up because he was a little wobbly.
He was staggered.
He was a little wobbly after that foul ball.
You know, the catcher umpire, they've got a little fraternity back there, and if it's the one thing that the one thing that they have going that kind of brings that fraternity together is really that pain in the gear that happens on occasion. They kind of protect each other, and it's unfortunate Fielding's going to look like he's going to call it a night.
Yeah, and now with the concussion protocol, that's a wise decision. If there's any doubt whatsoever, you know, that was a direct shot off the bat of Ohtani right back off the face mask of Colbert. Brian will have a word with Brian O'Nora and Chris Conroy as CB Bucknor, it appears, will be the new home plate umpire. Okay, take a quick break here. Gerrit Cole puts the warm-up jacket over that right arm just to stay warm, and when we come back, it'll be Shohei Ohtani batting in a 1-2 count with 2 outs in the third. Will take over as the new home plate umpire, and he is getting changed now to home plate gear, and that's why Gerrit Cole is resting in between pitches here. It's 1-2 on Shohei Ohtani. 2 outs, nobody on. Cole has retired 5 in a row. I was mentioning just a little earlier with Ohtani that this game and every one of his starts and every game that he plays as a DH or as a hitter are televised back to Japan, and the ratings have been out of control whenever Ohtani pitches or plays in a game, and setting all kinds of records, more than any other time in baseball history.
Yeah, any other of the Japanese players that have come over, and there have been some big ones. Hideki Matsui, Hideo Nomo. I mean, just some very good players that have come over, but you know, he's really a very polished player. I mean, I understand he's 23 years old, and you'd say, well, there's guys in minor leagues that come up that are 23, but they haven't played the high-end baseball that he's played for several years, starting his professional career at 18 years old.
That's crazy that he's at the top of the leaderboard in both exit velocity and velocity as a pitcher in his first year of the major leagues. Yeah. He's a talent we may not see again in our lifetimes that can do both of these, and that's why Mike Scioscia, the Angels, are kind of figuring things out as they go along. This is a whole new ballgame for them.
Well, the thing is, I don't think, Todd, that this is one of those situations that we've never had a talent like this. It's just been Major League Baseball and these organizations, they haven't been open to let these guys try this. You know, because it's really a logistical nightmare for the field manager to try and figure out exactly how to keep him healthy, both pitching and, you know, make sure he keeps his at-bats.
Well, the issue right now is A.J. Hinch has the 2 remaining umpires to discuss things with. Is you don't want Gerrit Cole to sit around too long.
Right.
And obviously on the other side is Jaime Barria. who has been down this entire inning. But for Cole, this is almost like an extra little blip of an inning added into his start tonight.
Yeah, it's like an extra half inning that the Astros actually aren't hitting in. And, you know, one of the things that takes so long, you know, CB Buckner, he has to get completely undressed. You got to remember, they don't wear their gear on the outside of their uniforms. It's all on the inside. And so it's not just a quick change like a regular catcher would where the gear is on the outside.
Today is a Twitter Tuesday. Our theme tonight is no-hitters. We asked you earlier, do you think the no-hitter has been diminished a little bit by all the no-hitters in the decade? Also, which current Astro of those 5 starters do you think has the best shot to throw a no-hitter? You think it'll be this year? I do. And share your memories of no-hitters that you've seen on TV or in person. Send those tweets to @ATT Sportsnet SW or @Real Todd Callis, @Mike Stanton 29 or @Julia Morales. With starters going fewer innings, says Tony, I would think it would be harder for no-hitters, but it doesn't seem to be. He does think we'll see more and more combined no-hitters.
Well, if you think, you know, if you and I were in Vegas and we were betting men, that if there is a staff in Major League Baseball that you would kind of say, okay, this is your odds on pick, you know, they got the best odds on doing this, you would say it would be the Astros, because one of the great things that they've done, it's not just the quality that they've been throwing out there. They've been going deep in games, keeping their pitch counts low.
Yep.
Because that's the biggest issue with a no-hitter is the pitch count.
Well, Gerrit Cole threw his first complete game shutout a couple of starts ago in Arizona. And when you talk about the best starters this year on the road, you've got the 2 Astros and then the Indians' Mike Clevenger.
Those are just spectacular. And we're going to see Mike Clevenger this weekend on Friday.
And Gerrit Cole's numbers obviously coming into this game before the 2-run home
Maybe
run.
the best locks in Major League Baseball. Got a big-time flow out of the back of his hat. He's got a serious mullet working. The last tweet we saw up there was talking about combined no-hitters. Now, there was another no-hitter that I was privileged enough to not be in, but I did get to witness it. Was the very first combined no-hitter in National League Baseball. September 11th, 1999, Atlanta Braves. Kent Mercker started it. Mark Wohlers came in, and then I think Alejandro Pena finished it. I warmed up like 3 times that game. But that was the first combined no-hitter in National League history.
Well, we know that there's a superstition, obviously, within the dugout. When a pitcher has a no-hitter, you kind of leave him alone.
Right.
When you're in the bullpen, and in that case, you were warming up 3 different times, the guys must be aware of it, but do you avoid saying anything?
Well, yes and no.
In the bullpen.
You know, the funny thing about that story, that 1991 start, Alejandro Pena really had no idea that it was a no-hitter. One thing that Alejandro did, he would take the game ball, and he would go in and he would write on it, you know, save number 12, whatever it was. And he's sitting there in his locker writing on this. I mean,
he did not know after the game?
He did not know that it was a combined no-hitter.
Come on.
You want to talk about a man that was in his own world down there in the bullpen. They had to figure, you know, remind him, no, don't write on that. That's got to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a guy who was locked into what he had to do. And now Gerrit Cole should throw a few extra warm-up pitches here, almost like he, as we said earlier, almost had a little up-down added to his start tonight.
Yeah, so to finish off that story, you know, the reason it was a combined no-hitter, it was a spot start for Kent Mercker.
Okay.
So he wasn't going to go, it didn't matter what happened, he wasn't going to go more than 5 innings. And he ends up going 5 and dive and ends up being the first combined no-hitter.
Well, and to our viewers' point about the increased number of no-hitters is because you have a pitch count situation now. Today, earlier, Jordan Lyles retired the first 22 batters in that Padres-Rockies game, and he was in a very good pitch count situation where he could have easily gone the distance had he not allowed a hit with 1 out in the 8th. But a lot of these guys aren't going to be able to throw 120 pitches to try and complete a no-hitter, whereas in the past, Nolan Ryan, he didn't care how many pitches he needed to finish off a no-hitter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they would get up into the 150s, 160s. I remember David Cohn telling me one time that he threw a CG at 156.
Wow. A.J. Hinch managed a no-hitter when he was the Diamondbacks manager, where Edwin Jackson threw 149 pitches, I believe, in that no-hitter where he walked the bases loaded one inning and had bullpen action up almost every inning in the first 4 or 5 innings.
Well, New York Mets, Johan Santana, that basically ended his career. He threw a no-hitter, and he was never the same after that with all the arm injuries he had.
We're ready to go. Cole has thrown his warm-up pitches. We have a new home plate umpire, CB Bucknor, and a count of 1-2 on Shohei Ohtani. And Ohtani pops one up. Long run for Bregman. McCann's trying to help out. Bregman makes a backhand catch on a full sprint. He was over at shortstop when that play started in the shift, and Bregman covered a lot of ground to record the final out. Great play by Bregman, still 2-0 game.
Dead sprint. You can see he's basically playing deep short, even up the middle a little bit. Todd, to me, it looks like he ran about 40 yards at a dead sprint. You can see the concentration, does a nice job, and then keeps himself from going in the Angels dugout.
That was a lot of ground to cover for Alex.
Getting his sprint work in.
Yeah, he had a long way to go to retire Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, and then what does he got to do? Run to the dugout, get his gear, because he's first up.
Yeah, get right in there. Base hit into left field for Alex Bregman to start off the 4th inning. Astros have their second hit, and they also have their second leadoff runner of this game. 2018 Astros Buddies memberships presented by BBVA Compass are available for kids 12 and under. Buddies receive 4 tickets to an Astros regular season game, a backpack, cap, socks, and exclusive benefits throughout the year for only $25 plus tax. Visit astros.com/buddies today to sign up. Altuve way out in front. It's 0-1. Altuve hit by a pitch his first time up. Kind of a glancing blow off the front elbow.
You know, Todd, he's not anywhere close to putting that ball in play, but that was a much more balanced swing, even though he's still well out in front. So maybe that timing is starting to work back into the right direction.
Runner on the move. Altuve drills one to center field. Trout all the way back. And he makes a nice running catch and slams into the fence. Bregman has to hustle back, and he is safely back to first, but Trout saved the run.
Well, there's your timing. Gets a fastball up, and we know that Jose likes to swing at the ball up in the zone, and he puts a nice pass on this ball. Mike Trout tracks this down, and Very good base running by Alex Bregman. Also, he had actually already rounded second base, knowing that Mike Trout, if he catches it, he's still going to be moving towards the wall, has to come back, retouch second, and gets back to first easily.
Jose Altuve struck that ball well. Some good signs of Altuve coming off that 0 for 16. Here's Carlos Correa. Altuve hit that last ball 386 feet.
All right, Todd, what I want you to look at, well, we're going to look at Mike Trout making the catch. Look at the concentration on his face. He knows where he is. He knows he's getting close to the wall, but concentrating all the way into the glove, then supporting himself on the wall.
76% hit probability for Altuve. There's a ball in the dirt, and Bregman, really good job getting to second base. Rivera couldn't find it right away, but it didn't matter. Alex had a good break off first.
Yeah, Todd, that's all anticipation. That as you take your secondary lead, as the base runner, you're actually expecting the ball in the dirt. The ball gets away from Rivera, and there's no play at second. But like you said, I don't think there would have been a play anyways, just because Bregman did such a nice job of getting a good secondary lead.
Now Correa in an RBI situation. Carlos leads the team with 29 runs batted in. Ground ball towards third on 2 hops. Valbuena has it. His throw across in time. Correa retired for the second out. Brian McCann, the batter. 2 outs, runner on second base. McCann singled to left field his first time up. Astros catchers have done a nice job. They are currently leading the league in combined OPS, batting average, and on base percentage. Last night, Stassi had a single and 3 at bats, and McCann coming in batting .262, but he leads all catchers with a .384 on base percentage.
You know, Brian is the starter, but Max is getting a lot of playing time, and they basically have their own starters that they work with. But with, you know, Stassi being a right-handed hitter, McCann being a left-handed hitter, they've got a nice little combination going. And I think the surprise is how well Max Stassi has swung the bat, and even done it with some damage.
He is just huge numbers against left-hand hitters, hitting over 500 against lefties this year. McCann on the 2-0 pitch misses. It's 2-1. Perea so far has allowed a couple of singles. He also hit a batter. Bregman is the first runner to get into scoring position. There's a base hit, and Bregman will be waved home, and the Astros score their first run of the night. Brian McCann with an RBI single, and it's now a 2-1 game. McCann 2 for 2.
Brian swung over an off-speed pitch the pitch before. Jaime Berea decides to go fastball well out over the plate. I mean, actually off the plate. Brian McCann, nice flat swing, catches it just off the end, just serves it into left field for the RBI single. And that's all because the elevation of the pitch he was able to get to. If that's down in the zone, it's a swing and miss. Brian doesn't come in anywhere close. But since he elevated that 2-seam fastball, Brian was able to get the barrel of the bat to the ball.
So the Astros finally putting a couple of hits together in the same inning as Marwin Fowles went out of play. Marwin struck out his first time up.
We've had a couple balls hit pretty hard tonight. That one wasn't one of them. Exit velocity on that one was 91.1 miles an hour, but the hit probability was 72%.
That's the crazy part, is you get those high hit probabilities.
You know what it comes from? It comes from the distance.
Yep.
That ball went 167 feet. So that's in between the infield and the outfield, all the way around the diamond.
Yeah, the launch angle with the low exit velocity gives him a little flare hit. 0-1 pitch is grounded foul. Alex Cintron makes the play at the first base coach's box, and it's 0-2 on Marwin. Despite this 0 for 18 now for Marwin, most of that coming at home. He has hit well on the road. His last 11 road games, 317 with a dozen RBIs.
With all the success that he had last season, he's seeing a lot of off-speed pitches. Not really getting any fastballs, especially fastballs in the zone. That was a fastball there, but that's well out. Chances are this is probably going to be a changeup on the plate down. And Marwin just hasn't made that adjustment covering those off-speed pitches down.
Berea has 2 strikeouts on the night. And a breaking ball, and Marwin fouls into the crowd.
He did go off speed, but he went with the breaking ball instead, but didn't get it down below the zone. And actually, Marwin put a pretty good pass on the ball. It was just inside.
Mentioned the Angels' usage of their bullpen last night extensively. They're starting to get some longer and more consistent starts here in the month of May than they had in April. Berea, his last start, went 5 1/3 innings in Colorado. Prior to that, a season high 6. Marwin grounds one foul. Marwin's trying to pull a Brandon Belt. He's got a long way to go, but Berea faced Brandon Belt earlier this year and threw a major league record 21 pitch at bat to Belt as part of a 49 pitch scoreless.
You know, I've been involved in a couple, not any close to that, but 10, 12, 13 pitches in at bat, and you're actually out there on the mound. You just you know what, throw it down the middle, just go away. I just don't want to see you anymore.
Belt was hitting foul balls all over the place, and there's a swing and a miss. Marwin goes down swinging for the second consecutive time. 3 strikeouts for Berea. We are through 3.5. Astros on the board. They're down 1. AARP. Upton's the one guy who had good numbers against Cole coming in. He got him his first time up.
Yeah, numbers got a little bit better after that first at bat. Getting that breaking ball down in the zone. The curveball kind of right into the swing path of Justin Upton, driving the ball into the bullpen. Now the Astros having to play from behind because of that swing.
Not like Cole's the first one that Upton's done damage against. That's
Oh, no.
7 home runs in his last 13 games. All in the month of May. He has 7 home runs and 21 runs batted in the month, and we're sitting here on the 15th. 0-1 the count. The only damage done tonight against Gerrit Cole, he's allowed 2 hits and 2 runs. All that coming in the first. Now when backs Upton off the plate a little bit. It's 1-1.
So this is a little different situation, Todd, for the pitchers here. Fielding Colbert starts the game. You kind of learn his strike zone, and now you got to figure out exactly what CB Buckner's going to be calling. So a little different approach.
Fielding had two very difficult calls with Mike Trout batting on 3-2 pitches that he took. Both could have gone one way or the other, and one went to the hitter his first time up, and the other went to the pitcher his second time.
Yeah, the first one I think Fielding called low, and it was borderline right at the bottom of the zone. The second one was just a pitcher's pitch on the outside corner at 99 miles an hour.
Upton a little late on that fastball at 98. It's 1-2. We have seen some 98s.
It's a two-strike emergency swing.
Yeah. We've seen some 98s and 99s tonight from Gerrit Cole. Cole has struck out 4. He's walked 1 and allowed the 2 hits in the first inning. Upton staying alive again off the 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
You know, one of the things that impresses me about Gerrit Cole, and there's several, is that you see the high velocity, the 98, 99s, but his delivery is just silky smooth. It doesn't look like he's putting any effort in it whatsoever, and the ball just jumps out of his hand.
Yeah, that was something we noticed right away in West Palm Beach. There's a swing and a miss at 98, up and away. So Upton, who did damage his first time up, goes down swinging. 5 strikeouts for Gerrit Cole.
Gerrit, after giving up the home run in the first, you can see really attacking the top part of the zone with the fastball and velocity. And you see the reaction by Justin Upton, not real happy with himself going out of the zone. But when the pitch is 98 miles an hour, you don't have a whole lot of time to decipher ball and strike.
Gerrit Cole coming in, averaging right around 96 miles an hour with his fastball. Today that is up a little bit. He's at 96.6 with his average fastball. So pitching here in a stadium where he grew up watching baseball as a kid with his family, having a couple of sets of season tickets, and he's amped up facing Albert Pujols here with 1 out and a 1-1 count. He has thrown his fastest pitch of the night at 99.4. This one fouled out of play at 96. It's 1-2. Pujols fly to center his first time up. Albert had a hitting streak snap last night, a 9-gamer, when he went 0 for 3. Currently tied for 30th all time with Al Kaline on the hit list. That's popped up. Who wants it? Alex Bregman takes control. Puts it away for out number 2.
Friday Night Fireworks, presented by Occidental Petroleum, is back at Minute Maid Park this Friday the 18th. Enjoy fireworks synced to Star Wars themed music after the Astros take on the Indians. Visit astros.com/Friday night for tickets.
It was a quick homestand last weekend with the Texas Rangers in town, and an equally short road trip, just a 3-gamer out to Anaheim and back home. Here's Andrelton Simmons. Simmons takes one inside for a ball. Astros will face the Cleveland Indians over the weekend. The Indians 20-20 starting the day, and they have not played anywhere close to where A.J. Hinch or Terry Francona expected 40 games into the season.
Yeah, those Indians have really struggled offensively. The pitching staff has done a pretty nice job. Bullpen has been a little shaky also, but you know, that's pretty much everyone's pick to win the Central, and they just have not really gotten any consistency other than the starting rotation.
They lost today to drop to 20-21 on the year, and they still lead the Central despite being 1 game under 500.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. You know, the Minnesota Twins, they haven't performed overly well. Then you've got a couple teams that are kind of rebuilding, but You know, that used to happen to the National League West. That the Dodgers or the Giants would win it, be 2 games over 500, and then everybody's upset because you got teams that are 94, 95 wins. They're going home.
And now the wild card's helping out.
That's right. That's right.
But the Central has been really disappointing across the board. Gerrit's been not getting the high strike in this at bat as Simmons has ducked into a couple of pitches that were called balls, and now it's a full count. Simmons is not easy to strike out. It'll be the biggest challenge Cole faces tonight. Guy who's coming in leading the American League with 86 strikeouts and about to pass Max Scherzer for the Major League lead. But Simmons strikes out once every 18 plate appearances. That is the best mark in all of baseball.
Yeah, he has turned himself into a very good hitter.
Into shallow right field, coming on Reddick, and he'll have to play it on a high. Simmons is 2 for 2 with a single into right. He owns 2 of the 3 Angels hits.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about putting the barrel on the ball, it's just getting wood on the ball, and this ball very well may have pine tar on it by the time Reddick picked it up. Fastball up and in 97, but Simmons fights it off and get some good results, flaring the ball down the right field line.
So a 2-out hit, and now Cole will face Luis Valbuena. Valbuena played 222 games with the Astros between the 2015 and 16 season, so a lot of time around the batting cage, reacquainting themselves, as he has a lot of friends over there in the Astros dugout.
Yeah, he played well for the Astros, especially defensively. Moved around a little bit first, third base. Wasn't really known for his power, but actually ended up hitting quite a few home runs as an Astro.
38 of them in the 2 years he was in Houston. As Simmons dies back. Simmons was thrown out trying to steal back in the first inning. He's now 5 for 7 in the stolen base department, as Brian McCann gunned him down for the final out of that inning. Fastball up and away to Valbuena. One and 1 the count. Cole starting the night with 86 strikeouts, best in the AL. Max Scherzer had 91, best in all of baseball. Cole has 5 of them tonight. So he and Scherzer currently tied for the most strikeouts in baseball. And now Cole with a 1-2 count. Another fastball around 97.
Yeah, the pitch before this was a slider kind of down and in to Valbuena. Swung over the top of it, so slowed him down and now sped him back up. And I think he really has Valbuena in between, so he could either go, you know, soft down or go back with the elevated fastball again.
Doesn't chase up there at 98, and the count evens at 2 apiece.
He went up, but just a little bit too far. That was up eye high. If it's shoulder high, Valbuena offers after.
Runner on the move, and it's fouled at the plate. Simmons trying to steal bag again on the 2-2 count. Astros with a significant lead over the Yankees and the Red Sox for the most strikeouts in the American League.
Yeah, that's a lot of strike. I mean, the Astros 450, that's astronomical, the number. But just overall, this whole list, you got to remember, what have they played? 42 games, something like that? That is a lot of strikeouts in Major League Baseball.
Almost 100 strikeouts more from the starting staff. And there is Cole's 6th strikeout. He takes over the Major League lead with his 92nd strikeout of the year. It's still 2-1 Angels.
Fans can purchase one of 3 different ticket packages, which include items such as a Josh Solo Reddick and Chewbacca dual bobblehead and an Astros Star Wars t-shirt. For tickets and more info, visit astros.com/Star Wars. TK.
All right, Julia. We'll look forward to that coming up on the 18th this Friday. A lot going on Friday. Kickoff to the weekend series against the Indians. We actually have 2 teams coming in during the homestand. It's not just 3 and out like it's been for the Rangers the last couple of times. Here's Evan Gattis leading off as we start the 5th with the Astros down 2-1.
Yeah, it's tough to call that even a homestand.
It's just
barely have enough time to get your laundry done.
Basically, yeah, you're unpacking, repacking back on the road. So it'll be good. The Astros have continued to play all these series here in a row without being in any one city for more than 3 straight games, at least at home. Gattis off the end of the bat, cues towards the second baseman Kinsler, who makes the play. Had a lot of reverse spin on it for the first out of the 5th. Both these teams have played better away from home, and both these teams have hit better away from home.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I think, for either team, because both teams should score runs. Both have some very good players on it, but I think it's a little more perplexing for the Astros because of the that's a hitter-friendly ballpark, Minute Maid Park.
Here's Josh Reddick taking a pitch outside for a ball.
And then this place with the vast outfield and the cooler weather at night with the marine layer, ball doesn't travel as much.
They've helped out left-hand hitters a little bit this year by dropping that fence in right field. Used to have to clear the scoreboard out there in right, and now you just have to clear the lower wall. Yellow line is the new line of demarcation for home runs. Used to be up above that video board.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. You had to really hit the ball high and far to get the ball out to right center field, and you still have to hit it very well because the ball doesn't travel. But that makes a big difference for those left-handed hitters.
Reddick takes a pitch on the outside corner. It's 2-2, and he checks in with C.B. Bucknor about that last pitch. But you're right, that's an adjustment for both guys, for both sides, for hitters and pitchers, changing home plate umpires in the middle of a game.
Yeah, high changeup right there. Not exactly where Berea wanted to throw it.
Now he gets a nasty slider down and in to strike out Reddick. 4th strikeout for Berea.
Time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Who am I? Pirate, Astro, Cardinal. 1,129 wins, and Laramie are your clues. Got any idea?
Thinking 1,129 wins is a good clue.
That's a big number.
At ATT Sportsnet SW to send your guesses. Also, that's where you are sending your tweets on this Twitter Tuesday. As Derek Fisher bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. Called strike. It is 1-1. Fisher popped up to short his first time up. Speaking of wins, A.J. Hinch celebrating his 44th birthday tonight. And he comes into this game with 297 wins as the Astros manager. He's currently 5th all time in Astros history for wins as a manager. Up next is Harry the Hat Walker at 355. He was there from 68 through 72. Art Howe 3rd at 392. Larry Dierker at 448. Bill Verdon, the most wins as an Astros manager, at 544. Fisher goes down swinging. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Berea. And a 1-2-3 fifth. Get 60 months interest-free financing during the Memorial Day sale. And by Volkswagen. Same score as last night. Hopefully not the same result. 2-1 Angels as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Angels have defeated the Astros 3 of their 4 matchups so far this year. And Ian Kinsler will lead things off against Gerrit Cole to be 7, 8, and 9, the bottom third of the order for the LA Angels. Kinsler grounded out his first time up. Cole starts the inning with 6 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 hits, 2 of them by Andrelton Simmons, and the big one, a 2-run home run by Justin Upton.
All right, did you write down your answer for Who Am I?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I wrote mine down.
Okay. There you go.
So we'll see if that one's right.
1-0 pitch, tried to check his swing, and he goes around.
By the way, I'm 0 for 1 this season. Missing last night.
Yeah, you were on the right genre. You had the coaching staff, but not the right coach. Gary Pettis, the windmill. A lot of people got it because of the windmill.
Yes.
Pettis he's one of those guys that if they had defensive metrics when he played, he would have been right at the top of all those charts.
Yeah, that's what he was there for. Yeah, he was an okay offensive player, speed guy, really contact, didn't strike out much, but he was known for his leather.
He went and got it. as well as anybody in the outfield. And a pleasure to have him around here as part of the coaching staff.
I've actually had the privilege playing on a team that he was coaching. 1996 Texas Rangers.
GP, very aggressive at third base. And he was the answer to last night's Name That Astro. 2-2 the count to Kinsler. Kinsler batting in the 7th spot. Scioscia's kind of dropped him down a little bit after leading him off in the early part of the season. And he fouls one back.
They're trying to get us up here.
And we've had a few right around.
They've been close.
Some a little bit above us, a couple right below us. None quite at this level.
I would think if we were here a little more often that we might get a few in here during the year.
Pretty good fastball there, and Kinsler stays alive. Gerrit's been good again. His 9th start as an Astro. And it's easy to be impressed with what we have seen out of this right-hander. 27-year-old pitching here for the 2nd time as a pro. Said he pitched here in some amateur events as well. There's another strikeout. 99 for Gerrit Cole. As he gets Kinsler to start the 5th inning. 7 strikeouts for Cole.
Pitch has some serious hop on it. Starts it off at the top part of the zone. It just simply doesn't come down. And at 99 miles an hour, you're just not going to foul that off very often. Threw some pitches down in the zone. Then elevates, it's called changing the eye level of the hitter. And it looks fat. It looks like a pitch you can handle. Yeah, maybe if it's 92 miles an hour.
Now he drops a curveball in to start this at bat.
Yeah, this is a 4-seam fastball. You see the backspin on it. It's got a little bit of run. And that ball was just absolutely by Ian Kinsler. He's had no chance on that pitch.
Gerrit Cole coming into this season had a career high of 12 strikeouts and had never gone back-to-back starts with double-digit strikeouts. This year, he has 5 double-digit strikeout games in 8 starts, and he's averaging more than 12 strikeouts per start in his last 3 outings. So he's averaging more strikeouts in his last 3 outings than he had as a career high before this year.
It's remarkable what he's done, and you know, he's come over. They've made a couple adjustments with his arsenal and with his approach. And, you know, him and Brent Strom have just hit it off. You also see him doing a lot of talking to Justin Verlander. Justin has kind of mentored him. And when they made this trade, when they brought him over here, this was a player that I felt like was in real need of a change of scenery. He needed just a fresh start. And my goodness, has he just blossomed into one of the league's best here in Houston.
He's been a little heavier with the fastball tonight, as he gets a fastball off the bat of Cole Calhoun to fly out to center field for out number 2.
It's time to Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here were your clues: Pirate, Astro, Cardinal. 1,129 wins in Laramie. Art Howe. Actually, I got this. I'm one for 2 now. Art Howe, 11 seasons in Major League Baseball. 1,129 wins as a manager, and I actually played for Art with the Mets. Attended University of Wyoming. There's your Laramie.
There you go. That ball is hit deep by Rene Rivera, and this ball is gone. Well struck by the Angels catcher Rene Rivera for his 3rd home run of the year. The only runs allowed by Gerrit Cole tonight have come on home runs. A 2-run home run by Upton, and now this solo shot by Rivera. It is a 3-1 Angels lead.
Let's take a look at the location on this pitch. It was a fastball, kind of just middle down. Rivera ambush at first pitch of the at-bat. You see him drop the barrel of the bat and hit this ball extremely well to left center field. Not exactly where he was looking. to throw that ball. I think he was trying to go up where he's thrown all these guys. 108.6 miles an hour, 432 feet.
Well, Rivera hits the home run with 2 outs in the 5th, and now back to the top of the order for Mike Trout.
And I think this was something you and Jeff have talked about. Hit probability, 100%.
He got a 100%er.
Got 100.
That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
1-1 the count to Trout. There's a strike called. Gerrit sitting at 90 pitches on the night. He's had great command. 62 strikes, 28 outside of the strike zone. That one backs Trout up. It's 2-2. And we've seen the fastball a lot tonight. He has thrown that fastball 63 times so far in the game of his 91 pitches.
Yeah, and almost all of them have been up in the zone. There have been a couple two-seamers mixed in there. Most of them just four-seam fastball, let the velocity eat at the top. A lot of low ball hitters in this Angels lineup.
Originally, AJ didn't necessarily want to have Cole and Verlander back-to-back in the rotation because they are probably the most similar of the 5 guys in the rotation, and they can also give you great depth in terms of innings pitched. They both have thrown 200 innings in their career and are very comfortable with going deep into games, but it's kind of worked out that way last time with Verlander going on normal rest, jumping Charlie Morton in the rotation.
Yeah, when he wanted to keep Verlander on his regular 5-day routine, you know, that kind of put these two guys together. And you know, there will be another adjustment coming soon. You got a lot of off days coming up, and you know, AJ will make that. And yeah, it's not the perfect scenario, but you know, you both two of the best right-handers in the game right now.
When it comes to road ERA coming in, the 2 best, that number has moved up a little bit on Gerrit tonight, allowing 3 runs in 5 innings.
Yeah, been bitten by the long ball. The first one in the first inning, that was by Justin Upton. Got a breaking ball down and drove it into the Astros bullpen in left field. And then that one by Rivera in left center field.
Trout has walked, and he has also struck out. Both times on 3-2 pitches, and now for the 3rd straight plate appearance, Trout has a full count. Been some good battles tonight between these two.
Yeah, you can see Gerrit he's attacked him, but he hasn't really spent a lot of time in the middle of the plate, really trying to get him efficient on the corners.
This is the edge, and that frustrates Cole. He threw that pitch 100 miles an hour. That's the highest velocity we've seen from Cole this year. He really wanted to finish Trout off to end the 5th and missed his location on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Gerrit now at 96 pitches. And last fastball, to be exact, according to StatCast, 99.6. You round up to 100. Here's Shohei Ohtani. That's still the fastest we've ever seen this season from Gerrit. It's kind of also a Verlander quality in that he has something in the tank for his final few batters.
Yeah, excuse me. He actually carries his velocity all the way through, and coming up on 100 pitches here shortly, he knows he's at the end, and we actually got some stirring in the Astros bullpen now.
We saw Cole finish off his 16 strikeout, 1-hit shutout by throwing his highest velocity pitch to that point of the season. And he has shown now in 2 or 3 starts he can carry 99 deep into a game.
Yeah, they get an idea of when they are coming towards the end, and the good ones know how to go ahead and empty the tank at the end of those outings.
Last one misses to Ohtani. It's 1-0. Colin McHugh starting to get loose.
You know, with pitchers like Verlander, like Gerrit Cole, it's not always that when they get tired, it's not always that the velocity drops. You know, the command can also be an indicator that it may be getting a little fatigued.
Breaking ball, line drive past the diving Correa. Reddick's going to get a chance to throw out Trout at third, and he's a dead duck. Josh Reddick, his 5th outfield assist of the year, as he throws a strike to Alex Bregman to get Mike Trout to try and go first to third. But Josh said, no, no, no.
What a great throw by Josh Reddick. The ball's hit pretty well. He charges it, sees Trout's going, throws the ball all the way in the air. Bregman with the tag, clearly out at third, Mike Trout.
Game in the Stro Zone presented by Texas Mahindra Dealers. Fans with a Stro Zone ticket this Friday receive an exclusive Astros Royale t-shirt. Visit astros.com/strozone now to purchase your tickets. What are those going to look like? I want to see.
Jubilation. Fortnite.
Fortnite.
The Springer dance as he grounds one towards Simmons. So 1 pitch, 1 out in the 6th inning, Julia.
Yes. I'm still trying to get my head around Fortnite. It's a game I don't know a lot about, but I can talk some baseball. And Alex Bregman comes up here, and A.J. Hinch had some interesting things to say about Bregman as we watch him mature as a hitter. He's obviously performed and produced in some big games in his career, early in his career. But what A.J. likes about him recently is just kind of how locked in he gets in some of the bigger moments. And no moment gets too big for him up there anymore. He's just really noticed that maturation process for Bregman, who just kind of gets into a different gear, or just kind of locks into what he needs to do in every AB. So it's good to see so early in Bregman's career, TK.
Yeah, he just does a lot of things the right way. And the last 2 times up with Shohei Ohtani, he's been way over in a shift towards the middle of the diamond. Last time he caught a pop-up 2 at-bats ago. This time he noticed Trout was getting aggressive leaving first base, so he had to sprint to third base to make sure he was there for Reddick's throw.
Yeah, that's just baseball instincts. That's just him, knowing where he needs to be, that on every play, every player has somewhere to be. And there's some things you just can't teach. And, his ability to rise to the occasion, that's just in him. Some players do it, some players can't. And we've seen him, draw big walks by not going outside the zone. We've seen him get big hits. We've seen big home runs in big spots. It's been fun to watch this young man progress, but it's just one of those things that you just really can't teach. This is just something that he's just born with.
Alex gets into one deep to left field. Upton back. He is reaching up, and he makes the play, running on to the warning track. Alex hit it well deep to left field, but he is retired for out number 2. It is almost 390 out there where Upton made that play.
Little bit of an off-balance swing, reaching just a touch. Hit the ball pretty well, but Justin did a nice job of putting his head down, realizing where that ball was going to go, and then turn around and finding the ball over the shoulder to make the catch.
Here's Jose Altuve. He flied out deep to center field his last time up. Hit one almost 400 feet to straight away that Mike Trout made a nice play on.
Yeah, he's hit a couple balls hard tonight, and it's good to see the timing is a little bit better on that fly out. You know, there was over 100 miles an hour, so the timing seems to get a little bit better for Jose, and you know what he can do when that timing gets close. This guy can get hits in bunches.
Julia's picked to click in this series. Picked up a hit last night in his final at bat. 2-1 the count. He was also our viewers' pick to click in the Stro poll last evening.
Julia, have you told him? Does he know that he's got this kind of pressure on him?
No. No.
Well, there you go, Julia.
Yep.
Another base hit.
Told you guys.
That's what Altuve does. He's on base twice tonight. Reaches out and sends a single into center field.
Well, Julia, you should know. You're our insider. Breaking ball down and away, and Jose just doing what he does. A little bit off balance, but because of the location of the pitch, still the extension he gets, and he's able to square the bat to ball skills for Jose Altuve. Just ability to put the wood on the ball is just remarkable, and that's the kind of hits he gets all the time.
That was typical Altuve because Barria threw that slider exactly where he wanted to, down and away, off the plate, ahead of the count. Altuve singles to center.
Yeah, I told you last night about tipping the hat, how I never did it, but that's another one of those instances that right pitch, right location. It's one of the wonderful things about baseball. You can do everything right and not get the success that you should.
I'm not sure I see many hitters spoil as many pitchers' pitches and end up with base hits as Jose Altuve. 0-1 the count to Correa. Carlos looking for his first hit. He has struck out and grounded out. The power player is presented by TXU, and Carlos Correa against right-handed pitching this year has all 7 of his home runs, and he is slugged at a .552 clip. His numbers against righties this year has been impressive.
Using the whole field, letting the ball travel. Big time bat speed. We've seen long home runs. We've seen RBI singles to right. It's really been fun to watch. And thing is, he's not as good a ball player as he's going to be. As he gets a little bit older, gets a little bit more mature, the swinging out of zone, the ability to get to the ball inside, all that's going to do nothing but get better.
Just played his 400th major league game over the weekend, and here he is at age 23. Sometimes you forget he's still that young.
Yeah, it seems like he's been here for about 6 or 7 years already.
Only 3 shortstops have hit more home runs in the history of the game in their first 400 games than Carlos Correa. Nomar Garciaparra, who was older than Carlos. Ernie Banks, who was 1 year older than Carlos after 400 games, and then an A-Rod.
Quite a list. Ooh.
Barria misses outside and low, and it's 2-2.
And those viewers out there that don't know about Nomar Garciaparra, this guy was an absolute wizard with the glove with the Red Sox. And I remember playing with him back in 1996. And he was known just a spectacular range. But they didn't, believe it or not, the Red Sox didn't know if he was going to hit. He ended up hitting pretty well.
Yeah, he did okay for himself. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Correa goes down swinging. Jaime Barria has struck out 6. Got Carlos Correa twice, 3-1 game. which centers around no-hitters. Nolan Ryan with his first of 7 career no-hitters 45 years ago today, May 15, 1973, against the Kansas City Royals, and that would just be the beginning.
Yeah, that was number 1 of 4 he would throw with the Angels. And the numbers, 7 no-hitters, just absolutely crazy. But some of the other numbers, 1-hitters, how many no-hitters he had through 7. I mean, it's just unbelievable the zeros he put up in his career.
Colin McHugh takes over in the 6th inning. Gerrit Cole, with his shortest outing as an Astro, goes 5 innings tonight, and now McHugh takes over. Here's Justin Upton. It'll be the 3-4-5 hitters, Upton, Albert Pujols, and Andrelton Simmons. And Upton pops one up towards the dugout. Marwin giving a look, but he runs out of room. Gerrit Cole ends up giving up 3 earned runs in 5 innings of work. His previous low inning start was a 6-inning start against the A's his last time out. So now he's gone 6 in 5 in back-to-back outings. Ended up striking out 7. And the 2 home runs, scoring all 3 runs against Gerrit Cole tonight. The pitch didn't miss by much. It's 1-1.
You know, Colin McHugh has done a really nice job for A.J. Hinch in a role that he really didn't know anything about going into the season. Going into the bullpen, he had always been a starter. Not an easy position for anyone to sit down there for 5 or 6 days, not knowing if you're going to go in, how to figure out how to warm up as a reliever, go in there and throw strikes, and he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah, he has been really, really good out there, and A.J. using him as more than just a long reliever, because frankly they haven't really needed a long reliever this year.
Well, I would think he's going to start getting a few more pressure situations, maybe not come in with guys on base, but he's just thrown the ball well. And the one thing you know about Colin is when he comes into the game, you know he's going to throw strikes.
Facing the top part of the lineup here, Angels leading 3-1 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And now it's 2-2.
That last foul ball, they're getting closer.
Yep.
That was in the booth right next to us. Are you going to try and catch it, or are you going to bail?
If there are line drives, I will bail. Anything with a little bit of a loft to it, I'm going for it.
If it's got a hump in it, you got a chance.
I got a shot.
Here's some of those numbers we were talking about. The most no-hitters broken up 7th inning or later. 24.
Crazy.
Now, he had 7 no-hitters, but 24 times he took a no-hitter into the 7th or later, and the opponents end up getting a hit. That's just crazy.
3 times as many as any pitcher not named Randy Johnson, and more than 2 times as many as the big unit. The numbers on Nolan with no-hitters will be unsurpassed. It's just crazy. Oh, yeah. 24 into the 7th and 7 overall. Upton goes down swinging. Colin McHugh strikes out his first batter he faces.
Yeah, we have a lot of numbers in Major League Baseball that just simply aren't going to be touched. And you could probably pretty much go across the board with anything Nolan has done, and those are going to stay on top.
Mentioned Nolan is celebrating the 45th year of his first no-hitter, the 45th anniversary of his first no-hitter. Then he got one 2 months later with the Angels on July 15th of '73. Followed that up with 1 in 74 towards the end of the year, and then 1 in 75. And then 1981, 1990, and 1991 to round out his 7 no-hitters. So from his first no-hitter to his last no-hitter, almost 18 years in between. Albert Pujols has flied to center and also popped up to the third baseman Bregman. Curveball's been good for McHugh this year. He misses there. It's 2-1. Gerrit Cole ended up throwing 98 pitches tonight in his 5 innings of work. There's a ball smashed on one hop. Bregman, a nice backhand play. His throw across is low, and Marwin digs it out on the other side. Good plays on both sides of the corners for the Astros infielders.
Nice play to wrangle this ball, but Bregman's had a little bit of an issue this year with making throws when he has plenty of time. Now he's doing everything correctly, but maybe a little bit more better footwork, going to the target a little bit more, but you know, it's just one of those things. When he doesn't have to think, he's as good as there is. But occasionally this year we've seen him make these bad throws, and just a great pick by Marwin Gonzalez on an in-between hop. That is not an easy play.
That was a tweener hop that almost hit the infield cutoff.
Yeah, what we mean by that, if the ball hops, you know, 18, 20 feet out in front of the first baseman, then it's a long hop and it's an easy play. Or if it gets really close to to Marwin, it's a short hop and it's an easy play. But it's in that in-between length that you're not exactly sure if the ball's going to come up, is it going to stay down. Now, I will tell you this, that Marwin, they work on those all the time. And so it is something you can practice, but still not an easy play whatsoever.
It's always interesting to watch Marwin go anywhere on the field and play above average defense. He just does his thing wherever you put him.
Well, that's the great thing about Marwin, and that's actually his highest value. You know, earlier in the season when he was playing a lot of first base when Yuli was out, you know, he's still valuable, but for him to spell any other position on any given day and still play at least average, if not a little bit above average, that's why he makes him one of the more valuable players.
We mentioned Simmons is a tough guy to strike out. He's down in the count here, 0-2 to Colin McHugh. Try to hold up. He does. It's 1-2. Working with 3 umpires tonight, in case you're just joining us. Fielding Colbreth started the game as a home plate umpire, took a foul ball off the mask and had to leave the game. CB Bucknor had been the second base umpire. He's now behind the plate, which leaves Chris Conroy at first and Brian O'Nora at third. Off the end of the bat, and that's why he's so tough to strike out. He was bailing on that curveball and still was able to stay alive.
Yeah, for a guy that when he came up was known really for nothing more than his glove. Look at the extension he has to get. That pitch is way out off the plate away, and it's going to bounce. And he's still able to get the barrel of the bat, you know, at least to it and touch it and foul it off and get another pitch. And that is so frustrating for a pitcher, to make pitches and have a hitter foul it off several times.
Now ground ball towards Correa. They don't strike out Simmons, but they do get the ground out, and a 1-2-3 inning for Colin McHugh in the 6th.
spotlight will fall on. Let's take it back. Brian McCann visiting Angel Stadium when he was an All-Star, back when the All-Star game was here in 2010. Had a bases clearing double. He just ripped that one down the line. Late in the game, the National League on top. He was with the Braves back then, and all he could think about, he told us, was the car that he would win when he would be named the MVP of the game. He was so excited. Just a couple innings left. He was hoping his team would get the win. He also said he wanted to give the car to his dad, so after the game, he's ready to receive the keys. Still no keys. Has a few things, has to take some pictures, gets ready to go talk to the media, and he's like, wait a minute, where's the car? There was no car given to the MVP that year, but every other year there's been a car.
Wow. Yeah, I think that was the one year that Chevy didn't sponsor the All-Star game.
Poor guy dreaming of the new car.
So he's still waiting for the car.
He's still waiting for the car.
Come on,
memories
Chevy.
for being
Step up, give him a car.
Good memories here, though, huh? Other than the fact that he didn't get a car. But then the worst part was they sent him the MVP trophy, right?
Right.
To Atlanta, where he lives. And it was broken. So it was like, all right, I didn't get the car. At least I got the trophy, but no, it was in a couple different pieces by the time it arrived to his home. So tough year for BMAC to win All-Star MVP.
We'll have to check with him. Julie, have you checked with him? Did he get it replaced?
The MVP award?
Yeah, the trophy.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure
He's still hung up on the car. He can't believe he didn't get
Forget
that
about
car.
the trophy.
Said he was standing on second base thinking about giving it to his dad. Had big plans for it.
Wow.
Instead, he got the Laurel and Hardy handshake. Here's the called strike to Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin has struck out twice tonight against Jaime Barria. Barria has thrown 87 pitches through 6 1/3. And he tries to bunt. Sometimes when you're struggling, you try and figure out any way to get on, and Marwin's in the midst of an 0 for 19.
Yeah, Jaime Barria has not been very nice to Marwin Gonzalez, really any of the Astros hitters. First at bat, it was a changeup. Second at bat, it was the high fastball after a few changeups down. And really has Marwin kind of in between the fastball and the changeup. That's a bad place to be when you're a hitter.
The deepest we've seen Barria go in any of his starts. Pitching in his rookie year, the 21-year-old had gone 6 innings in an outing against the Orioles on May the 3rd. And now he's 6 1/3 innings in.
And Todd, what I mean by in between, you know, most hitters hit the fastball and they react to the off speed, but Marwin's seen so many off speed pitches. Now he's kind of slowing things down to get to the off speed pitch, and then he can't get to the fastball. So he's kind of in between the fastball and the changeup.
Stays alive there. Angels with a little bullpen action going as Barria approaches 100 pitches on the night. 91 right now. That's the most he's thrown in any of his starts with the Angels. And Jose Alvarez, the lefty, warming up. Marwin goes down swinging, chases that pitch out of the zone. Another good changeup to a lefty. Join the Astros Foundation on June 24th at the annual Picnic in the Park presented by Pluckers. The event features a picnic buffet, an autograph session with Astros players, and family-friendly activities. All proceeds benefit local youth baseball and softball programs in the greater Houston area. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/picnic. 2 outs, nobody on. Here is Evan Gattis looking for his first hit. And Gattis pops one up and out of play. 7 strikeouts now for Barria. So he has both his most pitches thrown in a game as an Angels rookie. His most innings completed as a starter. Now he has matched his career high in strikeouts with 7. Struck out 7 Rockies in his last outing in 5 1/3.
Yeah, he's actually done it a lot like Andrew Heaney did it last night. You know, not an overpowering fastball, pretty good off-speed stuff, and very nice command of moving the ball around to keep the hitters off balance.
All 4 hits he's allowed have been singles tonight. Brian McCann with 2 of them. Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve the other 2. Heaney was really good last night. He went 8 innings, only allowing that 1 run in a 2-1 win. It's not been a lot of offense in this series. Astros had 4 hits against the starter Heaney last night and 4 hits against Berea tonight. AJ Hinch looking for some offense here so he doesn't ruin his birthday on his 44th birthday.
Yeah, need a little late inning heroics for the birthday present.
There's a ball hit hard, but at Valbuena. Gadd is frustrated as he lines out for the final out of the inning. Berea, in what might be his final inning, has a 3-1 lead as we head to the 7th inning stretch, and we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Preston Wilson in our Rooms to Go studios.
Poll. Thanks for voting in our poll. Remember, we're on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked where the Astros are going to finish the season when it comes to starter ERA, and 57% of you think it's going to be below 3. That would be pretty good.
Probably realistic, though. Below 2.5 would be hard to imagine.
But well, I mean, you just look at the game tonight. Gerrit Cole gives up 3 runs, so it goes up from where it is. But even below 3 is going to be historic. I mean, that's crazy numbers when you talk about a whole rotation. You're not talking about just one guy. You're talking about 5 positions in that rotation.
Luis Valbuena leads things off bottom half of the 7th inning. Astros down 3-1. We've only seen 9 combined hits tonight. Very similar to last night where the Angels won that game 2-1. In that game, the Astros out-hit the Angels 6-4. Tonight, we've only had 9 combined hits. It'll be Valbuena, Ian Kinsler, Cole Calhoun. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, the difference is just 2 big swings by the Angels. One by Justin Upton in the 1st, the other one by Rivera in the 5th, a solo shot. Both off Gerrit Cole.
McHugh with a 1-2-3 6th inning begins his 2nd inning of work.
Astros bullpen is quiet, so this will be Collins' inning. At least for now, it's 2-2 to Valbuena.
Two-run home run by Justin Upton in the first. Solo home run by Rivera in the fifth. Gerrit Cole goes 5 innings tonight. Shortest outing as an Astro. Allows 3 runs on 5 hits. 2 of those 5 the home runs. In the air to center field. Springer is back. Valbuena now 0 for 3 as he flies out to center field to start the 7th. It is a Twitter Tuesday. We've been asking you about your thoughts about no-hitters. Dunham 222 says he was working on a project in Rhode Island, decided to drive down to New York to catch the Astros and the Yankees, and a 6-pitcher combined no-hitter. Home in the Dome for Nolan Ryan's 5th. That was September of 1981, September 26th to be exact. Zambrano's no-hitter. That was over at Miller Park because they had to find a neutral site after the hurricane. There's a ball sent into right field for a base hit, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. Ian Kinsler cruises to second with a 1-out double. Multiple pitchers capable of a no-no. If he had to choose which of the 5, he would go with either Gerrit Cole or Justin Verlander.
Oh, gosh. It's like picking between your children.
I would say, I mean, Justin's done it twice.
He has.
Cole's had 1 complete game shutout. Not that he won't have a no-hitter in his career. I think he will. But I think if you have to choose the likeliest, maybe go with the guy who's done it a couple times already.
I don't really know how you pick. I mean, because both guys have plus stuff. They have good off-speed pitches. They have the ability to move the ball around. But there have been some great pitchers that have never thrown no-hitters.
Yeah.
So there is an element of luck that's involved
absolutely.
in a no-hitter also. So
element of luck. You need some defensive plays behind you. Absolutely. Yeah, there are.
I mean, you talk about the most dominating pitching performance ever was Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout, giving up 1 hit, and it was a swinging bunt.
Yep. Cole Calhoun, the batter. Calhoun takes a pitch outside. Yeah, I mean, you can see, you can compare what we saw that day out of Kerry Wood, and we just celebrated the 20th anniversary not too long ago of that outing.
Right.
You strike out 20 and allow 1 hit, and in many ways more dominant than many no-hitters you will see.
Oh, I think there's a lot of baseball experts that feel like that is the most dominating pitching performance in baseball history.
Swing and a miss. It's 1 and 2. The base hit, as it was a kind of a tweener hit. It was probably ruled correctly, but it was definitely. It was just one of those days where Jeff Bagwell, who's on our broadcast earlier this year and will again next Saturday or this Saturday coming up, said that was one day he wasn't mad about striking out because he knew that the pitcher was better than him.
Well, I heard an interview recently with Kerry Woods about that, and one of the things that always bothered me was after the game he was acting like it was no big deal. Well, he said in the interview there, he goes, I had no idea what the record was. He goes, why would I know what the record was? I never have more than 12 strikeouts in any game.
Yeah.
So then he busts out 20. So it wasn't until well after the game that he knew that he had set the record.
Now Will Harris starting to warm up. AJ likes him against lefties. Shohei Ohtani is due up 3 batters from now. Cole Calhoun with a 1-2 count. Curveball, and that is a line drive base hit to right. Around third, trying to score is Kinsler. Reddick's already thrown out 1 runner, and Kinsler is out at home plate. Reddick with his 2nd outfield assist of the night. His 6th of the year, and he matches Cole Calhoun for the major league lead. Don't test Josh Reddick. I'm surprised Dino Abell sent the runner Kinsler. I think Kinsler was a little surprised too.
Well, the only reason he sent him is because they've already got a lead at 3-1. Cole Calhoun, who's really struggled offensively, gets the single, and you could see Reddick had the ball in plenty of time, and he loves to throw the ball in the air all the way to the base. And he put this one right at home plate. pretty easy play for Brian McCann to tag out Kinsler, but just two absolute rockets thrown by Josh Reddick right on the money.
Like Sosha didn't even bother to check on the review because they're out of review. They don't have a challenge right.
That was a breaking ball by Colin, and you can see again, Josh always charges the ball very hard, gets his footwork right so he can get rid of the ball as quick as possible, and just throws a strike to Brian McCann at home.
Now it's 0-2.
And here's the tag by Brian McCann. Kinsler tried to go around it, and it was close, but the ball beat him by so much. I think if they would have sent that to New York, it would have stood.
0-2 pitch is up. It's 1-2. After the 7th inning, it can be up to the umpire's discretion. But the Angels out of challenges didn't even have a chance to look at that a second time. Rivera hitting a home run his last time up. 3rd home run of the year, giving the Angels a 3-1 lead. But McHugh gets some swinging, so a couple of hits in the inning. But Colin gets through it with a strikeout to end the 7th. Still 3-1 Angels.
By T-Mobile, and how about Josh Reddick this evening? Another tight ball game between the Angels and the Astros, and Josh Reddick, who threw out Mike Trout at 3rd in the 5th, helping his pitcher out there, and then helping Colin McHugh out by throwing a strike to get Ian Kinsler out at home. That's assist, outfield assist, 5 and 6 for Josh Reddick, who now tied, or he just tied, Cole Calhoun for the lead in the American League. Pretty impressive stuff. And guess who's leading things off for the Houston Astros?
Well, of course it's Josh Reddick. You know, Todd, I don't get it. I don't get how many times do these Astros outfielders have to throw runners out before you stop running? I understand you're trying to be aggressive, but, you know, the Mike Trout situation, I understand. Mike Trout, you know, he's going to go 1st to 3rd. It took a perfect throw. That one right there, Reddick had the ball before Ian Kinsler touched 3rd base.
Well, the Trout one is his call.
Right.
That's in front
That's
of him.
on him.
That's on him. And that one was Dino Ebel sending the runner. It looked like Kinsler was slightly surprised by the time he hit 3rd that he was being sent home. And Josh with 2 assists tonight after Cole Calhoun had a huge one last night.
Yeah, he cut a very tight 3rd base. I mean, he came pretty close to staying on the dirt down the baseline. Maybe he cut it a little bit too much because I think he had to decelerate just a little bit, and that might be what you're talking about how he kind of had to let up to cut the base that quickly.
So Kinsler thrown out. That was a big out for the Astros. Still down 2 as we head to the 8th inning, and now facing a new pitcher. The lefty Jose Alvarez takes over for Jaime Barria.
All right, Jose Alvarez, 29-year-old left-hander, is going to come at these Astros hitters with a 4-seam and 2-seam fastball, mostly 4-seam in the low 90s. Got a change slider and throws a cutter every once in a while, but against the lefties, it'll be fastball slider. Against the righties, it'll be fastball changeup.
Reddick looking for his first hit. He's flied to center and struck out. And now a count of 3-1. The last 2 nights, the Angels have had very good starting pitching. 8 innings of 4-hit, 1-run baseball last night from Andrew Heaney, and 7 innings of 4-hit, 1-run baseball tonight from Jaime Barria. Josh into left center field. That will be a base hit. Trout hustling to cut it off. He does cut it off. Reddick heading to second. Head first slide. He is safe. Josh Reddick making 2 great throws on the night and now challenging Mike Trout to make a throw of his own, and he beats it with a double.
If there's one chink in the armor of Superman in center field, Mike Trout, it is his arm. Now, he can be accurate, but doesn't have a lot of velocity behind it. But Josh Reddick gets this double with the first step out of the box. He is running hard as soon as he leaves the box, knowing he's going to try and get 2. You see him put his head down. He's just going in hard.
Yuli Gurriel will pinch hit for Derek Fisher facing the lefty Alvarez, and Yuli takes one down low. Yuli represents the tying run at the plate in the 8th inning. Out back, it's 1-1.
Todd, let's take a look at that slide. And we saw Josh do this last night also. He is really cognizant of making sure he holds the bag. You see him go in with both, and he wants to make sure that there's no part. He's always touching the bag because he knows the replay is coming if there's even the slightest hint that he comes off that bag at second.
Alvarez swings through it. It's 1-2. You mentioned the changeup more prevalent when he faces a right-hand hitter. And now Yuli down on the count. Yuli went 0 for 4 last night, batted with 2 on and 2 outs in the 9th inning in a 1-run game, and grounded out. Now inside it's 2-2. Yuli hitting for Derek Fisher. Pena power even here in Southern California.
There you go.
Into right field. That'll be a base hit. Reddick will be held at third as Calhoun. We already know what he could do out there. Astros have the tying runs aboard. Nobody out in the 8th inning.
Jose Alvarez has the right idea. He had thrown a changeup 3 pitches prior, throws a fastball in, and then he goes back changeup away. But he elevates this ball, and Yuli has such unbelievable plate coverage. Well, this isn't even plate coverage because this is in the left-handed batter's box. But he's got a unique swing that the bat stays in the bat zone, in the hitting zone, a long time, and that's what allows him to dunk that ball into right field.
Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, out there talking to his reliever Jose Alvarez. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, we look back at Gerrit Cole and George Springer's historic games on the last road trip. Plus, Colin McHugh rides into history in a bullpen cart. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the game, and re-airing all week long only on AT&T Sportsnet. 2 on, nobody out. George Springer at the plate, top of the order. And Cam Bedrosian starting to warm up in that Angels bullpen. Astros have 4 consecutive right-hand hitters right now, set to face the lefty Jose Alvarez. George looking for his first hit of the night. He has flied out and grounded out to shortstop twice. Big swing, no contact.
All right, George right here really needs to work hard on keeping Alvarez in the zone, not expanding the zone. If he doesn't get a pitch to hit.
Shallow right, Calhoun's got an arm. Not sure if they'll test him here. They don't. Fly ball to right, and now Yuli has to hustle back to first as Pujols cut that off nicely. Well, we already have the 2 leaders in outfield assists, and Reddick is one of them. He was not going to test the other.
Yeah, what I was trying to say was George needs to make sure Alvarez puts the ball in the zone, and this is a pitch changeup out off the plate away, and George expands the zone. Is not able to get the good part of the bat on the ball, and that's really been the issue with the Astros. It's not necessarily what they're doing with pitches in the zone. It's that they're expanding the zone even when there's not even 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was an 0-1 pitch. So the fly out to right for the first out. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman is flied out to right, singled and scored the Astros' only run back in the 4th, and also hit a fly ball deep to left field. Angels with the infield back, looking for 2 in this 1st and 3rd 1-out situation. Strike, it's 0-2. Alex has hit well on the road this year, hitting in 12 of his last 13 games away from Minute Maid Park.
You know, Todd, this is a situation that Bregman has excelled in the past. 1st and 3rd, late in the game, game on the line. This is where he can rise the occasion.
2-2. Alvarez allowing a double to Josh Reddick, a single to the pinch hitter Yuli Gurriel. Springer fly to right. Now 2-2 on Bregman. Now it's a foul ball towards the Angels dugout and into the dugout. Now it's 3-2. That one missed badly. Throws the changeup around the same speed as the slider. That changeup was way outside.
Yeah, there's been a couple pitches in this at bat that Rivera has looked more like a goalie than a catcher, really extending to his right across his body to wrangle those pitches.
Mentioned last night, Bregman the best at the team and not chasing. He was down in the count here 0-2, and now the count's full. Outside, ball 4. Astros have loaded the bases with Jose Altuve due up. 1 out in the 8th inning. Socha's going to stick with his lefty Jose Alvarez to face Jose Altuve.
Let's chalk up another quality at bat for Alex Bregman, hitting down 0-2 in a pressure situation, 1st and 3rd, and then able to work the walk.
28th walk of the year for Bregman, 4th in the American League. Altuve has been on base twice. He has been hit by a pitch and he singled his last time up. He also lined out deep to center field. Runners in scoring position coming into today in their head-to-head matchup was well in the favor of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
And that's a place that the Astros, Todd, excelled last year.
this year.
2-out hits are really what wins championships. There's a lot of things that you could put on that list, but quality at bats with runners in scoring position, that's where a lot of your runs come from.
Strike call to Altuve. 5 for 22 were the Astros before tonight, and the Angels 8 for 18 in the season series. Altuve fouls one back. He's down to the count 0-2. Astro on every base. Reddick on third. Yuli on second. Bregman on first. Altuve hitting over 400 this year with runners in scoring position, 4th in the AL. Doesn't chase up high. It's 1-2. Jose snapping an 0 for 16 in the 9th inning of last night's game. He's now been on base 3 out of his last 4 times. Altuve has faced Alvarez 5 times in his career. He's 1 for 4 with a walk.
Altuve really taking his time, not to try to get too excited. Wants to make Alvarez put the ball in the zone. Jose has a tendency to swing out of the zone, and we know what kind of damage he can do if he makes Alvarez throw a strike.
There's a ball hooked down the line, and that is a fair ball headed towards the corner. Reddick scores. Gurriel scores. Bregman digging for third. He's heading home. He is safe. Astros take a 4-3 lead in the 8th. Jose Altuve clears the bases with a double.
Jose Altuve gets a pitch in the zone. It's a changeup down. We talked about his timing. Timing was good enough that he was able to barrel up this ball. And very good base running. Good secondary lead by Alex Bregman. The way he scored this run was that he was running hard from the time he left first base from his secondary lead. Not even a play at the plate. That is a big hit for a struggling Astros offense.
The windmill was in motion in the third base coach's box. Altuve clears the bases. A pitching change in Anaheim with the Astros leading for the first time tonight, 4-3.
Favorite supported devices with MLB.tv. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Whole new ball game at Angels Stadium. Jose Altuve comes through with a bases clearing double, and now the Angels go to their right-hander out of the pen, Cam Bedrosian.
Cam Bedrosian, the power right-hander, four-seam fastball slider combination, mid-90s to mid-80s with the breaking ball, mid-90s with the fastball. Hasn't thrown the ball overly well for this Angels team as of late.
There is the curveball for a called strike. Facing Carlos Correa. Carlos looking for his first hit of the night. Coming in batting .400 on the road, the best in baseball. But he has struck out twice and grounded out to third. Bedrosian will throw that curveball more than 50% of the time to right-hand hitters. There it is. It misses this time. It's 1-1. Correa's 0 for 5 in his career against Cam Bedrosian with a couple of strikeouts. Both teams now with 7 hits. Astros leading for the first time tonight after Jose Altuve driving in his 18th, 19th, and 20th runs of the year on a double down the line and left. Will Harris loosening up in the Astros bullpen. Ground ball with Altuve on the move. Kinsler fields it. Altuve is going to come home, and Kinsler saw it. His throw to the plate, out at home plate. Altuve trying to take a risk, and a good play by the veteran second baseman Ian Kinsler not to make the throw to first.
Kept his head up, actually checked the runner, checked Altuve before throwing to first base, and saw Altuve round third hard. You see he was stealing third. We've seen Altuve do this before, and this is just one of those situations, trying to catch Ian Kinsler sleeping. And even with that, it was still a pretty close play at the plate, but that was just one of those situations that Altuve really trying to push the envelope, really trying to be aggressive, and ends up making it out at the plate.
Almost made a great slide to get in there, just barely tagged out by Rivera on the fielder's choice. And now Brian McCann will face Cam Bedrosian. McCann takes a called strike.
Here's that slide trying to go around Rivera. You see he does tag him.
Almost took out C.B. Bucknor.
C.B. Bucknor getting his nose right down in there, trying to make sure he makes the right call, and almost gets taken out. Pretty good footwork there by C.B. Bucknor.
I don't know if I saw the definitive view where he got tagged, but obviously the Astros must have seen it because they didn't challenge the play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jose actually even touched the plate. If he did, it was just the very back corner as he slid by well off the plate towards the backstop.
McCann down on the count 0-2. That's up and away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Altuve almost was able to pull it off, but Kinsler with a heads-up play, and still Altuve, even though Kinsler made the right decision and made it right away, almost able to steal a run for the Astros.
You know, that's one of those situations that prior to the series,
Upton makes the play and left for the final out of the inning. But the Astros score 3 with Jose Altuve providing the damage. This double down the left field line cleared the bases and gives the Astros their first lead of the night.
Jose Altuve has much respect for Mike Trout. We're taking you back. Remember when Altuve tripped trying to get a triple because he wanted to complete the cycle? Mike Trout actually made fun of Altuve before the game. They saw each other a couple of days later because this right here, this fall, made it all over networks across the country because of how lovable Altuve is, of course. Laughing at himself, teammates laughing at him, but the fact that Mike Trout made fun of him when he saw him a couple days later and then tripped himself. Altuve's reaction to Trout tripping was pretty classic. But those two have a great respect for each other. Like I said, when Altuve got his deal during spring training, Mike Trout was one of those who texted him. These two they admire each other's game, as a bunch of these guys do on these two teams who see each other a lot. But we're seeing some battles between the Angels and the Astros here lately, guys.
Couple 27s that have taken home MVP hardware 3 of the last 5 years in the American League.
Yeah, that's just the baseball gods jumping up and getting Mike Trout for making fun of someone else doing the face plant.
Will Harris takes over in the bottom of the 8th, and he'll face Mike Trout in the top of the order.
Will Harris, one of the go-to guys in close ball games for A.J. Hinch. Fastball, cut fastball, curveball combination. Tough on righties, tough on left-handers also, but he's got right-handers and Mike Trout to deal with right here.
Trout has had 2 walks and a strikeout tonight. Gerrit Cole only walked 2 all evening, and both times it was Trout. Both times it was on a 3-2 pitch. The time Trout struck out was also on a 3-2 pitch. It'll be Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and Justin Upton. Swing and a miss of the fastball. Will ahead of the count, 1-2.
And that's where we saw Gerrit Cole trying to attack Mike Trout, is that up in the zone, even with the cut fastball. If he can get it up there, he's got a better chance. He gets the ball down around the knees. That's where Mike Trout really likes the pitches.
A little too tall there. It's 2-2. Colin McHugh with 2 innings of shutout baseball. Got an assist from his right fielder Josh Reddick to keep those innings as shutout innings. He right now would be the pitcher of record for the Astros. Swing and a miss. Will Harris starts off the bottom of the 8th by striking out Mike Trout. When you take a look at what the Astros have done against their competition in the AL West, the one team they've struggled with for the last 30, and by struggle I'm saying 500 record, is these Angels.
You know, this Angels team is, they've been a good team. They've had some injuries in their pitching staff, but they've always been able to score runs. And, you got one of the best players, if not the best player in the game, in Mike Trout.
Astros with 3 on the right side of the infield against Shohei Ohtani. He was able to single through the right side of the infield with those 3 infielders last time up. But on the play, Mike Trout tried to go first and third and was gunned down by Josh Reddick, who has 2 outfield assists tonight and 2 huge plays for the Astros pitching and defense. Ohtani 1 for 3.
Astros outfield, even though the infield is playing the shift, the outfield is playing around to the opposite field just a little bit, and Josh Reddick is just about as deep as he can possibly get in right field.
There is a new left fielder as Derek Fisher was pinch hit for. Marwin Gonzalez has moved from first base to left field, and Yuli Gurriel taking over at first. Will ahead 1-2. Will has faced more lefty hitters than righty hitters this season.
Well, AJ's got 2 guys in his pen that he really trusts against left-handers, and that's Will Harris with the cut fastball curveball combination, and Chris Davinsky with the high-velocity fastball changeup.
Way upstairs is 2-2. Do have bullpen action going for the Astros right now, with Harris pitching to Ohtani and Justin Upton waiting on deck. Upton has had good success against Will Harris. Ken Giles warming up. On the ground towards Altuve. Ohtani can run, but Altuve makes the play for out number 2. 2 outs, base is empty. Watch the Astros in more ways than ever before by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions do apply. Well, Harris facing Upton. This has not ended well for the Astros the last 2 times, as Upton has hit a home run each of the last 2 times he has faced Will Harris. Overall, 3 for 5 with those 2 home runs, and Will misses inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Will's going to try and attack Upton just like Gerrit Cole did, and that's going to be in the top part of the zone. You don't want to get that breaking ball middle down. That was the home run that he hit in the first off of Gerrit Cole.
Bounces the curveball. It's 2-0. It is a Twitter Tuesday, and people are not only impressed about our theme of no hitters, they're also very impressed with Josh Reddick. Josh Reddick 2 for 2 and throwing out base runners tonight, getting Trout going to third, getting Kinsler trying to score.
Sarah Jean, I completely agree. I don't know why these guys keep thinking they can run on these Astros outfielders.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. Well, there's a scouting report. Everybody knows it. If you're going to test a Reddick or you're going to test a Calhoun, you may get thrown out. We saw that last night with Springer trying to test Calhoun. Calculated risk didn't work out. Tonight, Reddick has thrown out 2 runners. Now Will back in the count. It's 2-2. Last night, an aggressive send by Dino Ebel paid off. They won 2-1 on a send with Martin Maldonado running on a single to left.
Right, that was with Derek Fisher in left, and Derek doesn't have one of the stronger arms here for these Astros outfielders. These guys that they have out there right now, this is kind of the A-team as far as arms go in the outfield.
Pitch misses outside, and it's 3-2. Upton has homered and struck out twice. He's 1 for 3.
Here's that 2-2 pitch. Yeah, that's a good take by Justin Upton. That's a tough pitch after the pitch is inside, just off the plate away.
Swing and a foul, staying alive. Just a piece.
3-2 breaking ball. Will Harris gets it in a good spot, but Upton just able to touch it and foul that pitch off.
Towards Correa, 2 big hops. And the Astros are through 8 with a 4-3 lead. Will Harris, a 1-2-3 inning. prices. And by Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. Astros lead 4-3 as we head to the ninth inning, thanks to two players in particular, Josh Reddick defensively, and then Julian Morales picked the click in this series offensively. As Jose Altuve drove in 3 with a bases clearing double. They take a 4-3 lead into the ninth inning. Reddick will bat third in this inning as he will face the new pitcher for the Angels, Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson, the 34-year-old right-hander, sinker curveball combination, throws mostly sinkers, occasionally a four-seamer, occasionally a changeup. Does have some swing and miss, but in the past he's been more of just a ground ball pitcher. Even when he was closing back in Baltimore, just really didn't strike out a whole lot of guys, but it's got some swing and miss here in 2018.
Yeah, when he's on, he gets a lot of the opposition hitters to pound that baseball into the ground, as Marwin does right here on 2 hops. Kinsler bobbles, and Marwin's going to be safe. Kinsler went to the backhand up the middle and couldn't make the play cleanly. That'll go as an error against the Angels' second baseman.
Yeah, Jim Johnson with the 2-seam fastball, sinking fastball on the first pitch. Marwin just grounds it up the middle. And Ian Kinsler, eye on the ball, everything. He just misses it. The ball hits in the palm of his glove and drops to his feet, but wasn't able to come up and make a throw to first base with Marwin running to first.
First error for either side in this game, and that'll bring up Evan Gattis. Gattis has grounded it into a double play, grounded out to second, and lined out to third. Johnson starts him off with a strike. Fourth pitcher of the night for the Angels, Jaime Barria, pitched very well. The starter went 7 innings, allowing just 1 run. But then the Astros put a 3 spot up in the 8th. All the runs charged to the lefty Jose Alvarez. Cam Bedrosian came on for the final 2 outs, and now Jim Johnson.
Yeah, this is the third reliever for the Angels, but you can't blame this on the starting pitching. Barria did a nice job getting deep into this game, going 7 innings, holding the Astros down. But Alvarez struggled there in the 7th. Astros drop a 3 spot. I'm sorry, in the 8th.
Runner on the move. The pitch bounces up there, picked cleanly by Rivera, but Marwin safe. Good pitch to run on, even though Rivera picked it cleanly off the hop. And Marwin has his second steal of the year in 2 attempts.
That was the curveball from Jim Johnson, and Marwin gets a pretty good jump. Now, Marwin's not one of the fastest Astros, but with the ball bouncing in front of the plate, Rivera just that's a hope and a prayer play. That's, he picks that clean, actually makes a throw, makes it close at second base, but that ball could just easily gone all the way to the backstop.
Now the Astros looking for insurance run here in this 4-3 game. Big swing by Gattis, and it's 2-2. A.J. Hinch and his bench coach Joe Espada discussing the situation in the 9th inning. A.J. said before the game he's 3-2 on his birthday as a manager.
Not bad.
Into center field, Trout over. Marwin's going to tag, and he will bluff. Trout's throw is airmailed and backed up nicely by Jim Johnson. Trout realizes he got away with one there.
Jim Johnson, nice job backing up that play. And we said earlier, Trout, if he's got one part of his game that isn't top notch, that is the strength of his arm. And he's trying to take a page out of Josh Reddick's book, throwing it all the way to third base and just aimed a little high.
Marwin hustled back to the bag. I really thought he was going to tag there and force the issue. Here's Josh Reddick. Reddick fouls one away. Josh started the rally in the 8th inning when he doubled into left center field, and he tested the arm of Mike Trout and won that test on a head-first slide in the 2nd for a double. Reddick has faced Jim Johnson more than any other Astros hitter. Just one hit in 6 at-bats. It was a single the last time he faced him. Astros lead 4-3, both teams with 7 hits. Astros have left 4 runners on, Angels have left 3. Johnson and Rivera having trouble getting on the same page. Ken Giles will be on in the 9th to try and close out this game. Angels have their 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up. Albert Pujols, Andrelton Simmons, and Luis Valbuena. Now Josh down the count 0-2. On the ground, right side, Pujols makes the play. Flips to Johnson, he drops the ball. Morwin's going to score. Astros take a 5-3 lead. That ball was flipped to the pitcher Johnson, who missed it. And the Astros will take it on the 2nd error of the inning. And now lead it by 2.
Albert made this play a lot tougher than it needed to be. He did the underhand toss, and the ball kinds of floats. And you see the ball gets to first base just about the time that Johnson does. So he's trying to catch the ball and find the base at the same time. If Pujols, takes a step and goes ahead and puts a little bit on that throw, tries to get that ball to Jim Johnson before he gets to the bag, much better chance of making the play.
Now Yuli bounces to 3rd, Valbuena to 2nd for 1, and they turn 2. But Astros score a run. They get an insurance run on a couple of errors. Marwin Gonzalez coming around from 2nd on the error as Pujols flips it to Johnson, and Johnson unable to make the play. 5-3.
This is most 10-plus strikeout games for the Houston Astros. Of course, you know who has to be at the top, and that's Nolan. 53 games he struck out 10 or more. That is just a crazy number. Gerrit Cole, who started tonight, he's on the list. He's had 5. And then Lance McCullers, it's not really an overly long list. Lance McCullers, he's on the list also. He's top 10, around 8 or 9 with 10.
It is Twitter Tuesday. Our theme's been no-hitters, so we've talked about the Ryan Express extensively tonight on the 45th anniversary of the first of his 7 no-hitters. Ken Giles takes over in the bottom half of the 9th.
Ken Giles, high 90s fastball slider combination. His last outing tossed a scoreless inning on Wednesday against Oakland to notch his second save in a row. It has actually been 5 for 5 this year in save opportunities, and 10 of his last 11 appearances have been scoreless.
Albert Pujols 0 for 3 tonight. A nice play by Alex Bregman. Got him last time. What a nice extra run that was for the Astros. As a ball set on the right side for a base hit. Pujols with his first hit of this series, a single into right center.
Todd, even though the Astros had the shift on down by 2, you don't get 3,008 hits in your career without getting a few opposite field hits. He knows they need a base runner. Giles pitching away from him. Just go ahead, serve the ball in right, and get that base runner that they needed.
Breaks the tie with Al Kaline with hit number 3008. He now moves into 30th place by himself. And Giles will face Andrelton Simmons. Pitch down low.
You know, Todd, with getting that many hits, and then you go back and you look at the list of names, the historic names that, you know, guys like Pujols are going to pass as he crawls up that list. It's really cool to look back and just see exactly what some of these guys, some of the numbers that they've put up, and the historic names that are out there.
Fly ball in the left field. Marwin broke back. Now he comes in. Plenty of time to get under this one. Marwin makes the play for out number 1. So big out there for Giles as he gets Simmons to fly out to left. That'll bring up Luis Valbuena. Valbuena 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a flyout. Fastball at 98 down low. It's 1-0. Giles without the huge strikeout numbers this season, 9 and 12 and 2/3 innings now, but he also hasn't walked a batter, so he's done a good job commanding his own. Hitters putting the ball in play, but
yeah, the issues he's had hasn't been with throwing the ball out of the zone, at least not walking guys. Hasn't necessarily had great command.
Strike call there. Valbuena doesn't agree with C.B. Bucknor. It's 1-2.
That might be a little bit different strike zone than what we started with Field and Colbert. He wasn't calling the bottom part of the zone. We see that one catches borderline pitch on the bottom, but Giles gets the call from C.B. Bucknor. But Giles' issue hasn't been with not being able to put the ball in the zone. It's really been about
Cole, third strike. Valbuena doesn't like that one either. He's going to have a word for Bucknor on his way back to the dugout. Ken Giles picks up out number 2 in the ninth. Got the low strike for strike 2 and gets the high strike for strike 3.
Yeah, not exactly where Ken Giles wanted to throw the ball. Usually go fastball up, breaking ball down. He went fastball down, breaking ball up, but got the call. That was just above the belt, right at the top of the zone. Valbuena didn't think so and let C.B. Bucknor have it.
So now Giles will face Ian Kinsler. 2 outs, a runner on first. Astros were down 3-1 in this game until Jose Altuve cleared the bases in the 8th with a double. Added an unearned run in the 9th. Now Giles trying to keep that score right there. 1-0 the count. Kinsler has doubled in 3 at-bats. Big swing, no contact at 98. It's 1-1. Out of play. Angels down to their final strike. It's 1-2 on Kinsler. A little meeting with Brian McCann, going out to talk to Ken Giles on this 1-2 count.
Just want to make sure they're on the right page. Kinsler, a little bit different type hitter than any other one in this lineup. He actually crowds the plate. And when you're not used to that as a pitcher, we see most hitters kind of stand off the plate trying to get extension. Kinsler's on top of the plate, and that can be a little bit disconcerting for a pitcher that's not used to it.
This is with the slider. It's 2-2. Now the count's full. Pujols will be off with a 2-out full count pitch. He got him. Giles strikes out Ian Kinsler to end this game, and the Astros come from behind to win tonight in Anaheim by the final score of 5-3. Josh Reddick with the great defense. Jose Altuve with a bases clearing double, and the Astros have moved back into first place in the AL West.
Good win by the Astros. This was one that they really needed. And Jose Altuve, the man in the hour, gets the big swing with the double down the line, scoring 3.
Series is split 1 apiece, and Justin Verlander will be on the mound tomorrow. We'll have more, including the post-game show right around the corner.